Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and anyone in between. We're here at EGFC Week 14. I am the voice here today, solo nerds corner in the corner, getting ready and excited to see both of these teams. On the docket, we have St. John's University against DePaul. That's 4 and 5 respectively. St. John's being 4 and DePaul being 5. We've seen them in some other games. I mean, I've commentated CSGO, so I'm excited to see what the Blue Devils, the Demons, what do they have? What can they bring on DePaul University's side, especially as we get into the schedule for today. We see what other games we have, what other teams that are going to be playing against each other. Cool transitions. Tennessee and Cincinnati, Northern Arizona and Idaho, they're going to be the teams and the games coming up 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. respectively. But for now, we're going to be seeing St. John's University and DePaul. I'm excited to see where they place, because I already know they place 4 and 5 in the standings here, right? I mean, it's interesting, right? The standings 4 and 5, they're really close all together. In the standings, 72% win rate for St. John's University and a 72% win rate for DePaul. Actually, even the percentages are the same, 72.37% for both teams on their map win rate. On their just regular win rate, because the map win rate's the thing that's different. 66.67% for St. John's. That's why they're going to be seated number 4 in the standings here. They have a slightly better win rate, just a touch above here. They're 5th in the standings here. Regardless, I mean, I'm excited to see what these teams are going to be playing out against each other as we take a look at the maps. See who and what are they gonna be playing. Now, I saw the maps a bit earlier, got a peek behind the curtain, so I'm excited to say that Lotus is gonna be our decider. Lotus, one of the newer maps, same thing with Pearl, another new map. So I think it's great to see them pick Pearl. Pearl it's contested. Normally people hated Fracture, a lot of people dislike that map, but with Optic's new play style, they were able to play with Neon, they were able to play with Breach. It became a little bit more open for team play, whereas Pearl, a lot of people are still learning it even to this day. Even though it is fairly new in comparison to other maps, it's still been around for a while at this point. That being said, I mean, I'm excited to see what the teams do. If we do get to that game 3, we will see Lotus. Otherwise, I mean, I'm just excited to see Ascent. Ascent is the basic map. It's the map that we've seen time in and time out again and again. I mean, it is a lot. I mean, it's a little bit of an interesting map, paper thin walls and all that stuff. There's a lot of set plays and executes on all sites, both A and B site. But I think we're waiting on the teams just a touch. They're still figuring out some of those strategies and executes on Ascent, as we're just gonna get right into it. No more waiting on the teams. They're here already. I mean, hey, I love it. That means we get in faster. We get to see the teams play out and against each other. Now we see an interesting pick here. Gecko is allowed for this tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be my first time talking about Gecko, so I'm excited to see what Sago has in mind if they choose to lock that in. Now, with Gecko being allowed, I would not be surprised if people have some thought out executes. A decent amount of content creators and a decent amount of players have already started conceptualizing and theorizing lineups for all of their utility. Gecko has the Mosh Pit Grenade, which is, in my opinion, a little bit overpowered, with its radius being big. It's a big radius, and they do end up locking it in. For DePaul University, they're going with the new agent, which honestly makes sense. He's in the meta so far. You got to learn how to play around him. You got to learn how to play with him. It's going to throw this game in a little bit of a loop. And it's exciting that it's going to be on Ascent, being one of the cornerstone maps, one of the first maps in the game. A keystone map, as some would say, as we are getting right into it. And they are instantly going to see that Gecko. I wonder what's going through St. John's mind. I mean, I would personally be a little terrified. Gecko's utility, Dizzy, it's very powerful. She is a blue little blob. His Pokemon goes out and it blinds people. It is a very, very powerful blind overall, and I would not be surprised if Sago is going to have a decent amount of assists near the end of this game, especially with how well, I mean, with their utility, also plants and diffuses, with Wingman being able to diffuse and plant the spike respectively. I feel like the St. John's University team not having a Gecko on their side is going to be at a disadvantage. Just generally, new characters in a game are always very powerful, and new characters in any video game before they get balanced, nerfed, or buffed, they're just usually not either the strongest or not the strongest, but usually they're strong, and usually people want to play them. In this case, it is the tendency. Gecko is very strong, and we already start seeing that utility. Dizzy goes out. You do have to pick it up. One agent getting suppressed with that 0 point, as they're just going to be pushing in through mid. I mean, they took a decent amount of space there. Found out already one. There's Wingman down, so they have it in a compromised position. He needs to go back to get it back. But there we go. We see B bada boom. Steen, I believe they ended up missing out that shot. Ticklemaster falls to Tenacity, and that is going to be a player down for DePaul. Wingman, in a sense, Omen getting the plant. Tenacity is going to charge up that ultimate piece by piece. Paranoia goes out as NPC gets a little bit of a team flash there, but his ratty corner works out to a degree. Unfortunately, the retake from St. John's is powerful. They're able to take players on site, cordon them off, and take them down. That's going to be the first round for St. John's University. As overpowered as Wingman is, and as overpowered as Gecko is in general, as some would say, he is very dependent on a team. I would say you need some team play with that as well. So we'll have to see how it develops. Although so far, Ticklemaster taking the charge for St. John's University. 2-1-1, not only with assists, but also with the sprays. It's going to be the classic conversion round, the buy up for St. John's to hopefully get them into the bonus. Ooh. I'm gonna start seeing the mid push classic. Smalls not only hears that audio cue, but is also able to get 2 for the road. Spike is already down, needs to dash away. The tailwind is really powerful, but a sheriff in hand is also as well. There's that Paranoia coming out. He's able to find more. That's a 3-piece. Gets stopped by Rubik's. The damage has already been done. It's 3-4. Sorry, 2-4 left. He was able to take 3, and now they know exactly where the last player is. Even though they're able to pick up a Marshall, that is 3 players left alive for St. John's. And honestly, that Marshall is a very good play. It's necessary to have a weapon in that situation, especially after you lose 3 players. Ooh, it's tough. Knight able to purchase up a Vandal to combat this rifle round. Although with all rifles on the side of DePaul, it's going to be difficult to play against them. Thankfully, they're on defense, though, which means that they can hide in corners. Sunny with a Judge, Smalls with a Sheriff. Actually, 1 away from there's ultimate as well. So there's potential to see a Blade Storm coming out this round if they can get that first pick and use it to absolutely destroy this bonus and rifle round, respectively, for both teams. St. John's looking to potentially get that Blade Storm up. DePaul looking to slow things down and make sure they're playing everything good, not lose a rifle. If they can net themselves a rifle, St. John's University is going to be sitting pretty. But DePaul doesn't want to give it to them. They don't want to over aggress. The caution.
Cover going out.
Fade all the way over on B site. They're spreading things out. Mosh pit clears wine. The site take commences. It's slow. They're able to catch one. Pearcat. He spams through the smoke, takes things up. Switching to the Judge because there's low bullets. There's the Gecko. There's the Wingman. Cute as a button and amazing with utility. The spray doesn't work. Tenacity's able to grab 2. That's Knight and Smalls already down. And now it's St. John's on the back burner. I love the Iron Buddy. I think the memery is there. Void's able to pick up a Vandal, though, as they're looking to change the pace. Hopefully net themselves a clutch in this situation. But with 3 players left and so much utility in the hands of our new agent, Sago has a decent amount of capabilities. And it's actually Pearcat who's able to grab Void with that Judge that they picked up. Smart play, not needing to reload, right? You can pick up a weapon off the ground, do some damage, and hide away. And that is going to be the first round for DePaul University. We did get to see some utility coming out from Sago, which is always fun to note, especially with new agents changing up the way that the game works. 7 to their ultimate, and also Wingman's plants count towards their ultimate. So you can very well get yourself so many ults in a given round, right? In my thought process when I first got him was I sent Gecko out, I sent my Wingman out, and then I would just go pick up the orb. Ooh, but the peek from Smalls does not work out. Pearcat's able to grab them. Thankfully, they were doubled up there. Even though they were able to suppress Sago, it doesn't matter. The mosh pit already goes out. Thankfully, no one's there. Sago electing not to use Wingman. Smart choice here. So Wingman's still amazing piece of utility to have online and active.
Last player standing.
And Pearcat gets one more. There's one player left. Rubik's, and this is where the Dizzy blind comes in. It is so powerful because at least with the flash or with the stun, there's a short duration afterwards that you can see stuff. But with that Dizzy stun, it is very difficult to see anything in general. The moment it stuns, it breaks you, and you cannot see line of sight. You can't see where anyone is. Sure, you can see things on the side, but it's still very difficult because it's not a traditional stun, not a traditional flash. As it's going to be rifles in the hands of DePaul, we start seeing them get some rounds, net them, and the snowball of Valorant continues. Early Dizzy play with a dimensional drift. Sova crouching for respect, giving them a little bit of stuff. And there's the thrash that comes out. Monsters on the loose, and they're ready to find some players. And this is where it comes in. You really have to play together. Ooh, but it's Smalls who's able to grab them. Pearcat looking to play with the thrash, but is not able to net anything out of it. The push is already slowed down. We saw the Blade Storm for St. John's as they were trying to win out this eco, and with a numbers advantage, even though they had the disadvantage in weaponry, it might be a thrifty round for them. Sago and stuck in wine, doesn't want to cross haphazardly. Omen drawing a lot of attention from St. John's over on that B site. I think they're going to wait for Omen to take first contact and try to push onto that A site. Very convincing fake. And there we go. He took first contact. The plant's going to go off. It's going to bamboozle St. John's, who at worst weaponry. I mean, they were able to pick up weaponry, I would hope, from DePaul. But at the same time, it's still one of those things where they need to rotate quickly. They need to be decisive here. Thankfully, Small's still in mid. Pushes onto Sago. Almost catches the timing. Does able to take out Sago. They catch them at least. Smalls dashes in, no movement error, but a classic in hand. Rubik's gets one, but Void, picking up that Vandal earlier, is able to grab Rubik's. It's going to be the first round for St. John's after they started their slight losing streak. A great play from DePaul, and a thrifty round there, so they know it even more. But I will say a great play from DePaul, using tenacity to fake that B push, making a decent amount of noise, taking first contact, slowing things down, and pushing on to the A site. Unfortunately, though, because they lost too much manpower and they lost those weapons to St. John's University, the retake wasn't too hard. Tenacity was not able to get one. And in that situation, the playmaker is usually the duelist, or at least an initiator, so they have some sort of utility to not only get out of a situation, but also play in a situation around that. Unfortunately, I don't believe DePaul had that. But it is 2-3. Both teams have rifles. It's nothing too crazy yet. There's that Wingman running around trying to find something, but doesn't in B site. As we take a look on A. Again, this is the thing. You can get those orbs, especially if you're planting for the majority of your team. Farming that thrash. At least do it while it's 7. Sunny Falls. Bibadoo is able to grab them. Funky name, funky game. As it's now even playing field for both teams. 2 ultimates online for each other. The smoke goes off so they can cross into mid. Knight knows this, goes for the call. And they do exactly that. They cross into mid. Tenacity able to take out Smalls, who's trying to capitalize that. But there's the trade in numbers. Now going in favor of St. John's. DePaul is at 2 players left. The Nightfall still in hands of the Fade. And only 1 player getting suppressed. There's that nightfall. It goes out. It's able to grab one, and so they know where at least one player is, but the cross goes out. There we go. They peek together. They're holding the same angle, but from different sides, and that's going to net them a second round win. DePaul University on the back burner now. They don't have the money. They don't have the utility they need to save here. Sago, hero rifle? That would be an interesting play here indeed, especially considering that their ultimate does not net them too much in terms of firepower. They do have a decent amount of money on Pearcat, so Pearcat going for the hero rifle is a decently logical, I would say, sense. But electing to get two Spectres, now I feel like that's very intelligent right there. They have a really good shot of getting a thrifty here, especially with their utility, but now they really see their play style. They're able to catch Sunny on a timing. Hopefully this nets them some money or some utility, but as you can see, Knight already looking to aggress to ensure that they don't. Thankfully, the smoke and the alarm bot give them that Vandal in hand as Sago's investment falls. Void grabs them. Tickle Master grabs Pearcat. It's 3v4. Both KJ ultimates online, that null command as well to slow down any push and play on the retake. Ooh, Smalls knows. They know, but unfortunately, St. John's doesn't. Tickle-Master finishes things off, and it's going to be 3 rounds up for St. John's University. Now, as much as I love talking about our newly... I was gonna say amphibious, but amphibious does not seem right here. Our newly sprung agent Gecko. They're not doing as much as expected, especially on attack. Maybe I misread it. Maybe on defense, there's some strategy with him. Definitely a lot of potential there as well. That being said, Smalls, Tickle-Master, and Void, they're working really well with each other, especially Tickle-Master and Smalls. At play, being able to sense the utility and push away. Tickle-Master almost getting caught out by that final little piece of mosh pit. But is able to run out, especially since it's a delayed timer. The Thrash going out. This is the second one we've seen this ult this half. Second time there, but there's the spike. I believe they're going to be sending Wingman to do that so they can fight with their team. And this is where we start seeing some of the benefits of it. There's a lockdown to counter all these ultimates in this game, but there's a spray down. There's that KJ ultimate for retake. Sago and their team need to play further back. Same thing with the null command. Paranoia going out. Sago was able to take down Knight as well, but they have a jet smoke to protect them and a jet smoke to block out their vision. Line ups as Pearcat needs to be aware of this molly. Smalls finds him, but Pearcat's the one quicker to the draw. Void gets one more. Rubik sending utility, but that's a little too late. Defense is able to get the defuse. Pros don't fake it, especially when they have that much energy. I think they're just looking for a fight. They find him, and Tickle-Master falls because of it. Unfortunate. You play funky games, you get funky prizes, and in this situation, that prize was a loss of a weapon. I mean, maybe they're so far up in their utility that they're not too worried about losing a Vandal, losing a rifle, but it is something to note as it's going to hurt the economy just a touch, not too much, especially because they have 4, 7, 4, 6, 3. I sound like I'm reading binary, but they have thousands and thousands of creds for St. John University's side, especially winning these rounds back to back to back. I think they've won about 4 in a row. Oh, we're starting to see a B execute. The Dizzy combo with the lockdown works out so well because it blinds and stops the players from breaking that lockdown. A lot of players will just spam through the wall, but thankfully they don't do that. I mean, very good team play here. They push them off to site and they're able to take it. If they can win off the back of an ultimate, I mean, could they win off anything else? I mean, you want to win off of ultimates, but at the same time, if that's the only difference maker, it's going to be really difficult. Knight starts the retake. Sago going down. Sunny is there with them for the trade, but Pearcat's able to grab 1 and 2. There's Sunny with the trades. They're playing together, and Smalls as well. It's a 2v3 situation with 2 ultimates online. From the shadows, not really powerful, but the paranoia and the combination of the Sova drone work out. Sunny goes for it. They're gonna spam through the smoke, and there's the crossfire to protect Sunny. 1 on top there. 1 on lane, the other chilling near the back on double. The cross goes out, and that's going to be 7 rounds for St. John's University as they're trying to take this home, this half. They want it. They need it, especially on the defensive side. I feel like in general, the defensive side is slightly favored in most of these games, especially because you need to chill back, you need to relax, but especially on some specific maps. I feel like Ascent is one of those maps that you could argue is a bit more defense-sided because of how easy it is and how like basic it is. More specifically, it just naturally is defense-sided because this game is naturally defense-sided. But that being said, I feel like you could teams have played this for so long, they can very well execute on attack. And another thing I didn't comment on, there's a Yoru. They're using Yoru, Pearcat. And another not so traditional play to play as Yoru. But players that play really well on him and really shine on him know how to play him. Like we saw Pearcat there. Can do a lot of damage. Dimensional drift to let them onto site as the retake commences. Sunny and Knight are able to get ones of their own, and that is going to be again on the back burner. DePaul, they have such a difficult time staying and holding onto site. One player remains. This is a really good execute team. St. John's University is doing such a good job of just holding things off for retake. Again, we see the same situation. They're just holding the cross, but this time with even more players. Rubik's understands that, hey, we fell last time for the cross, so this time I'm going to peek them one by one and isolate them. He's able to do that, but unfortunately not fast enough. The defuse going out. That's going to be 8-2 in favor of St. John's University. And the thing is about all this that really like bamboozles me more than anything is how well St. John's University plays that retake and how difficult it is for DePaul to hold onto a site. I feel this is the time you got to default. This is the time where you got to spread out and really bamboozle your opponents. Get into that brain game. Smalls gets dizzied. Can't see anything. The Pearcat's able to grab 2. Hopefully those don't go too much into Vayne. Pearcat TP'd in, I believe. No time to reload. But with the paranoia, they're able to play off of each other. Sunny getting for the read is able to take out Pearcat, and that's 2v2. And there's that ultimate going off. Spots out Rubik's. I thought it spotted out Rubik's, but unfortunately it did not. Plant goes off. There's still 2 ultimates from the shadows from Tenacity to get into a weird position on top of Generator. Gives away the position of Ticklemaster. He's able to take him down. 1 player left. Sunny knows the position of 1. He now knows the position of 2. But how is he going to play things out? There's a lot of utility and a lot of pressure built up from this cross. There's the TP from Omen. Tenacity is able to find Sunny. And that's going to be a first round for DePaul after a very long losing streak. That's going to be the last round of the half. They're trying to end this 8-4. That's still a very good way to win out. 8-4, you could still come back from. You could still win out. 9-3, that's a little bit more difficult. And then 10-2, you are absolutely going to have to climb. You're going to need to get those ice picks out as you are climbing Everest at that point in that situation. I mean, it's definitely not as crazy as a 12-0, but they have some rounds on the board. So they just need to keep up their confidence. They played really well. They're slowing things down, getting some early picks from players like Pearcat. I'm mixing up my fruits and vegetables here, and as I say it, they fall. Smalls is able to grab them, and so does the trade. Goes out. Beataboo. He's able to grab 1 more. Sunny tries to use the op, but unfortunately, it's Smalls on the other side who has the tailwind. Can't dash away. He doesn't get out. He doesn't die, but he does get some damage on them. And there's that Nightfall that we love to see. A very powerful ultimate to clear out most angles. But how are they going to play against this retake? A retake from St. John's University is so powerful here. And with Ticklemaster taking out Rubik's near the back end, it's going to be difficult for them to play against each other. Sago catches Smalls. 1 player left. Tenacity against the 3. Low HP for 2 of their players, but with a well-timed paranoia and no clue where they are, he's only able to grab 1. Sunny with a defuse. It's going to be 9-3. Normally I'd ask players, hey, what do you guys think about the 9-3? Is Is it cursed? Is it not cursed? What do y'all think? But I heard recently a really interesting answer to that question, and I would love to share it with you. It is basically the lowest common denominator in a given round that you could potentially come back from in the way the Valorant economy works. Now, DePaul University, they're going to want to win this pistol, win the conversion round, and that's going to net them 2 rounds. They're going to buy both of those rounds, so they're not going to have economy. And if they lose the next one, after that, they lose the 3rd rifle round, they're going to be sitting pretty for the 4th round, when they're going to be able to buy up and have about 3k creds in the bank. Now, if we did that exact scenario with 10-2, they're going to be at 11-4. And that is a really tough scoreline to see. But on the inverse, 9-3, it's going to be 10-5, which is still tough, but it is a way better stat line to be at. It's easier to come back from 10-5 deficit than it is from 11-4. That being said, Pearcat's looking to even things out here. Takes the early aggression and TPs away back into hell. He's like, nah, I don't want to be here anymore. He knows where they are. He knows where the execute's going to be. And so does, I believe, their Omen as well for DePaul University side. Your players in mid. And I love this out of St. John's University. They know that DePaul is going to try some stuff here. So they're spreading out. Doubled up in mid. 2 players on A. They're looking to gain some space where they can. Smalls is already able to take out Sago. So there is one of your initiators down. Ooh, the tether doesn't work out. Pearcat falls as well. 3 players left for DePaul. And considering that their retakes, their executes weren't that effective, unfortunately, I wonder how their retake is going as well. Sunny knows the position of one. Knight knows the position of the other 2. He's able to grab it. Rubik's on the run. Shock darts to try and find them and spot them out. A flawless victory. Ticklemaster's able to grab one more. Unfortunately, DePaul University is not just unfortunate situations here. The spread out methodical nature of St. John's University here is working out. They're just able to adapt a touch faster. DePaul University, they have a lot of utility and capability to win out against St. John's, but St. John's knows this, and so they play around that very effectively. The time is ticking down as we're getting into the next round. It's 10-3 on the scoreline. There's that mosh pit going out early. And the aggression here from DePaul to... Ooh. It gets traded out. Ticklemaster falls. I think they bought up here. They were able to grab Knight. This adaptation from DePaul is working out kind of well for them, surprisingly. It took a lot of space and aggression. Nice shots in... Nice shots in the chat. A tongue twister there coming out for Knight. Respect on the game, respect on the aim. Good to see both these teams have some camaraderie, but at the same time, it is 3-3. And in this early of the game, I mean, you'd hope that DePaul can make a comeback here. They have the utility. There's the trade. There's the counter as well. The refrags go out. They have the numbers advantage. Tenacity takes it away. DePaul is able to win things out here. St. John's University, I mean, they've adapted. They've adapted before, and they're going to adapt again. DePaul University wins one more out. They're not out of it just yet. They love the change of pace here. They're able to run down in B site, take so much space on that B site, and it nets them weaponry. They got a bulldog in their hands, and they took that with stingers and specters, I believe, and ran into A site for the retake. On even weaponry and on even aggression, it worked out for them. Feel like this aggression, if they can keep it up, maybe not necessarily on the space taking, especially because there's, you know, even weaponry for most players at some point. It's going to equalize where both teams have rifles. It's not going to work forever, but especially for those retakes, that aggression is really necessary. As St. John's University is going to be going for a save. They have Vandal, they have Sheriffs and Ghosts. I mean, a Sheriff is basically a Vandal, especially in the hands of a player like Knight, who was able to take one down. He's going to be going to try and take some space and be aggressive themselves. I think they pick up the Bulldog, get it in their hands. They fall to Rubik's, but there's so many players in mid, and they've taken a decent amount of space and pressure, and now they've thrown off DePaul just a touch. Although it ain't over till it's over. Tenacity knows something, and so does Sunny. Thankfully, a Vandal is still a Vandal, and the world is still right. He's able to grab Sunny. That is It's basically 3-3 with how low Fade is, but you can't discount that utility as well. So a 4-3 situation here. They've taken a decent amount of space mid. I just hope they don't get into a snowball. Oh, the judge. Haircat's just waiting. Vibing, having a good time, grooving to the music. Spots out one, peeks, gets one more. There's the trade from Void. Thankfully, they're able to trade, but the numbers advantage in DePaul's hands now handedly. Now that it's 1-3, they gotta continue winning this out, hopefully, so they can make themselves some space so they can come back. 30 seconds left on the clock for DePaul. And there's the plant, St. John University. They're just letting them plant. They're waiting for it. They're like, hey, you know what? You can plant. You can get on here. We're going to retake here. The better weaponry in their hands and utility as well. Spots out Tenacity. Don't even need the Fade Prowler to get there. And that's going to be the 5th round. DePaul University is starting to get things up. They're getting things going. Their aggression that they have, especially on the retake, waiting for their timings. Adaptations from DePaul are coming out. And now it's only a 5-round deficit. Now, it didn't play out exactly like I mentioned. Normally it's you win the pistol conversion and you lose this 3rd round. A little bit of the inverse happened, ironically enough. The first round was lost and the other 2 were won. But at the same time, we still see that scoreline. Now, this is a scoreline that's easier to come back to. If it was 8-4, it would be even easier. But 9-3, it's just the lowest possible denominator that can be done. There's going to be Vandals and Phantoms in the hands of St. John's University. So I wonder how DePaul plays this out. Sending out Dizzy early, blinds 3, or at least it spots out 3. I don't know if it was able to grab Smalls, but that lineup works out so well for them. It gives them a little bit of information that there's players there, but they don't know if they're going to continue pushing. Smalls clearing wine, and DePaul knows that there could be players on either side right here. Sago sends the mosh pit. Smalls dashing through, trying to make space. There is that utility going out again and again. He's able to catch one, but Smalls is able to catch another. Knights with Tenacity. St. John's University, they're looking to start winning things out here so they can get that 11, 12, and 13 to win and close things out. Someone on the flank. Knights understands, hey, there's someone, you know, we got to get our backs covered before we get spiraled and trapped in. Boo is going to be the one to do it. There we go. They're able to convert on one. This aggression here, this read to be able to encapsulate them and hopefully provide enough pressure from all sides to win out. Void, last player, same with Boo. It's 1v1. Both have their ults, so it doesn't matter. Here, it's just the gunplay, and Void wins out. The gunplay matters. The black, gray Void? Well, the Void summoned the Void clearly there, ladies and gents. He was able to just get interesting animation moment in that situation. But the Void was summoned and he was able to win out for St. John's University. That is going to be 11-5. 2 rounds away from winning it all. 1 until it threatens match point. 1 to get to that 12. DePaul University's on the back burner here. I like the change of pace, the immediate aggression and read. They're a little bit more decisive now here for DePaul, but that decisiveness is coming a little bit too late, especially because of how dominant St. John's is. They have all their players left. They took out one of the top fraggers for DePaul as well. Same thing with Rubik's. Rubik's is able to grab Smalls. And Smalls has been doing some crazy plays for them. But their utility's up. Smalls just needed to make space for them. Sight's already been taken. Ticklemaster runs for it, but Boo Stan is able to grab one. I'm just saying it's a little bit difficult here. Knight gets one more. There's Tenacity with the trade. Sago gets another and a third. They're going to keep themselves alive here. Please send out Wingman. Aww. Well, that's understandable. I thought it would be cute, but it does make sense. You want to keep that utility. Wingman, you have to purchase them up. So Wingman isn't the free utility that you get. Wingman is something that you have to buy. They're doing it. They heard me. Oh, the cute. Oh. Some unsportsmanlike conduct there. DePaul University wins out. That being said, we do get to see some of that utility go out and they get the defuse. Hopefully they can continue winning some of these rounds. I know they just recently lost in their quote unquote bonus for DePaul, but they do have a decent amount of money here. It is a broken buy for both teams, so there's a lot of potential there. Ultimate's on the side of DePaul as well with the lockdown and from the shadows. There's that site take. Null command going out, so they have no utility, but all you need is a judge in hand, and that works out. Thankfully, they're going to stabilize him here. Paracat hears it. He hears the audio cue. He's able to get one more through the smoke. Knight finally falls. You see, Knight can definitely calm to them. He can tell them, hey, they're here, they're there. With all the players left for DePaul's side as well, they have a decent advantage here, but Tickle-Master wants to change that almost instantly. Now it's 2-on-2. There's the Thrash available for DePaul and the lockdown for St. John's. The lockdown goes out into an uncompromisable position. They know that that's going to go off regardless of the situation. Tenacity getting backed into the wall, into the corner. They're going to know that worst case scenario, there's a player there. Sago on the other side. Thrash available for this retake. They're going to whip it out. Are they going to use it? There's a lot of potential here. So all you, he's able to get one, and Tenacity's able to play off of that. There's the trade. Ooh, but Dizzy's able to grab them. They know where he is. Sago sends the mosh pit. They need to pick up the spike, but there is a decent amount of time for both sides. Wingman going out to clear. That's going to give Tickle-Master a read. He peeks and he finds. That is going to be 12-6. These 1v1s are getting very close. It's just unfortunate that DePaul isn't able to capitalize on it, unfortunately. Tenacity in the chat. Wingman, no! Wingman falls, and that is unfortunate in that situation. He's not able to get too much value out of it. It is the threat of match point for St. John's. It's a threat of match point. If they win this round, they win the series, they win things out, it is going to be done and dusted, and we're going to be going on to the next map, Pearl. Very interesting map indeed, but not, I mean, I don't know if Wingman, I don't know if Gecko is super useful on the map, but we'll see if they go with it again. That being said, Paracat, it's a lot of information with this dimensional drift. Looking to get some, catching some players off guard, summons that decoy, has the flash, picks up a weapon. Tenacity is also there with a weapon of their own, and that's going to slow down St. John's University tremendously. 4 players left. They were able to come back from stuff like that before, but with Knight down in a 1v4 situation, Sunny's going to need to do some miracles. Even if you have that ultimate online, it doesn't work out. The nearsightedness gets him. He's able to grab one, but Rubik's is there with another, and that is going to be 7 rounds up. 5 away from being evened out, but still at the threat of match point. They got to play perfectly from here on out. And looking at their track record, they win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, and they lose one here. If they're going to continue on this pace, on this trail over and over again, it's not going to shine brightly for them. They're not going to be able to win out. Unfortunately, if they lose this round, they're out. So they got to go to Pearl, and hopefully if they can win out Pearl, that's going to take us to Lotus map 3. But realistically, they're on the threat of being, you know, on the back burner, on the downside. It is best of 3. They're getting ready for the site take, but I love this slow-paced push from St. John's. They don't want to give up too much information. Knight's already been spotted out. Tickle-Master peeks with him. There's 2 players there. Hunter's Fury going out. Paracat's able to grab Knight. Unfortunately, the trade goes out only in numbers, but not actually there. Tickle-Master falls. They weren't able to exactly get Paracat, at least not until now. Sago gets 2 more. That's going to be our Lonely Sunny. I believe they bought up here, which is a very interesting play, especially going up against a team with better utility. They keep 3 players alive, and that's going to be 3 rifles going into the next half. Or sorry, into the next round. If you could carry rifles into the next half, that would be chaotic. And that being said, Sunny did buy up, but thankfully they have enough money to get weaponry. That does put into question if they have money for utility as well left over, which is something that I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be seeing if they can use it. But that being said, it's starting to seem that DePaul University, they're starting to build up their economy, build up their little steam rolling. Their engines are turning, the snowball's getting bigger. Hopefully this can be combated by St. John's and kept up by DePaul. I mean, both teams have something to win here, something to gain. Ooh, the spray goes out. Rubik's almost grabs more than one, but the smart dash comes out and he gets traded out by Ticklemaster. Distraction from the Jet. Smalls knows exactly how to play this. There's that Sova drone, still really useful even through all the nerfs. Sago's been spotted, but they're not able to grab him. There's the wingman clap, and he's able to take out Smalls as well. One player left for St. John's, and it's looking like DePaul's a whole different beast here. He tries to do some damage to that economy, but they still keep 3 players alive. And here's the thing, if you keep 3 players alive, that's when you start winning things out. And this is a very smart timeout. Unfortunately, I don't see too many timeouts on in some of these teams as much as they should be, but it's really smart here, especially for St. John's. They've been losing round after round, and in one more round, it's going to be double digits for both teams. DePaul University slowly starting to catch up, making their way into the next round. St. John's University needs to change things up. Something about their strategy. They've been doing a good job of defaulting, gaining information, but the newfound aggression from DePaul University to just take space and play for retake when they need to is working out so well for them. As the timeout is coming to a close and they finish talking about all of the things that they're curious and interested about, all the thought processes, I feel like we might see a very aggressive change of pace here, especially losing 3 rounds in a row. There isn't as much weaponry right now for St. John's University to work with, but at least in the next coming rounds, they need to close things and wrap things up. They've let go of the handle a little too much. The brakes aren't there. They're a little bit loose, and they need to start reeling it back in. Sunny going for a Marshall. The rest of the players going for those Sheriffs. They had a really good time with some thrifty rounds. They have the ability to be really impactful here, especially as Sunny's able to grab tenacity to raw aim, winning out in that situation. Let's see if their brain also does that. They have the player advantage and they're looking to get aggressive, surprisingly. The drone goes on deep to see if they can capitalize off on this kill. Picking up a Vandal. There's still a decent amount of noise on the other side. He's able to grab one more. Slowing things down. He's waiting for the rest of the team to come back. They re-clear the same area, hopefully picking up that Marshall. Now they have weaponry in their hands, and that is going to be really difficult for DePaul. 2 rifles are down. Knight peeks out, hopefully not losing too much for them. Just a Sheriff in their hands. It's going to be 3-on-3. There's still ultimates for St. John's. There's that lockdown for both sides. It goes off for DePaul. That is going to hopefully slow them down. Void is just stuck in there. Attackers using it a touch later. He needs to hide away in hell. And there we go. 5 seconds left. 1 player getting detained, but they're going to start onto that defuse. Pros don't fake. 1 player left. DePaul, they're just waiting on that site. They need to get the defuse, but Spike needs to be kept alive. Pros don't fake, and Void reads into that. And there we go, 13-9. That timeout instantly being shown exactly what they need, exactly what happens, right? Like, they took the timeout, rethought their strategy, and even though they had worse off weaponry, the raw aim, Sunny opening things up for them in mid and then allowing them to clear and push through. Very smart with the utility as well. The drone going out to make sure, hey, there's no one there for the refrag, no one there for the trade. I can pick up this Vandal, goes in, gets a second one, and closes things off for St. John's University. And that's going to be taking us to Pearl. St. John's University win things out 9-13 scoreline, or sorry, 13-9 more specifically, switching up the teams and the sidedness. But we're gonna have to see how DePaul answers for this on Pearl. Hello and welcome back to the EGFC week 14 games here. We are back with St. John's University and DePaul for our matchup, and we're going on to Pearl. I'm excited to be your voice here today. I mean, looking at all the maps, they're going to be going off onto Lotus and Decider if DePaul can win out. Now, DePaul lost on their map choice, and they're going to be going on to St. John's map choice, Pearl. I think Pearl is one of those maps that, you know, you could definitely win out, especially if you don't pick it. But at the same time, it is a map that you kind of need to have set strategies on. One side of the map being very open, very spacious, very head tappy and ready. But on the other side, it is a lot more methodical. B side, you can take it a little bit easier, whereas A side, you got to be a little bit more thought out. B side, it's harder to hold. A side's easier to retake. Sorry, B side's easier to retake. A side's harder to retake. My words, stumbling upon myself. But at the end of the day, both of these teams, we'll have to see how they play out. Sago and Pearcat both looking to relive some of their previous glory. I mean, Pearcat led the charge in the previous game. That was 18-18 on the kill feed. They were doing amazing over there. But, I mean, they did really good on the stat line, but their team was not able to close things out near the end. So we'll see how it works out on this map. Okay, electing to switch off of it. They're still debating their team comp. They're not 100% sure. Whereas St. John's University, this is their map. This is their pick. They're comfortable with what they have. They're comfortable with that Harbor and Viper combo. And I think that that combination, not going with double duelist, instead going with double smokes, double controller, that is going to be an interesting setup. Oh, as it gets mirrored. Double controller gets mirrored for both sides, although it's a different controller. We have Astra with a global presence. You could go and put anything from anywhere on the map. Some of that initiator potential as well with the stun and the suck, being able to get into and start a fight. But at the same time, you have Harbor. He has a very different utility in a different kit entirely. Does not have a global presence, but has a lot of slowing and stopping potential. We're going to see how it goes. I'm still going to be looking at Sago, checking them out, seeing what they have. They went 8-4 last time near the bottom, so it was unfortunate. 16 deaths on top of that as well. So we'll have to see. There's some good sportsmanship near there as well. My fellow agents, everyone's spreading some love out. I believe it. Sago was saying this might be one of their final matches in college, so it's always sad to see players go, but it's very nice to see them being so supportive of one another. That being said, a good clean fight here. St. John's University starting off on attack. The slightly, I would say, unfavored side in this matchup, although these players make it look so effortless sometimes that all my words mean nothing. They just absolutely dominate on whatever side they're on. Especially, this is their map. They have some thought out strategies, and as you can see, the solo Viper play over on B keeps two players occupied. They're spreading out as they're going to be getting ready and thinking of their site takes here.
Toxins going up.
That wall goes out, isolates the crossfire for Pearcat and Beat-a-Boo Doobie Stan. Since there hasn't been too much noise made from either side, it's still anyone's game as to where they're going. St. John's University, they're looking to take the space up on B. DePaul, they had some noise on A. With the wall going over there, onto that B site, they're confident in this play. Beat-a-Boo Stan, that trigger discipline, able to find one, but the Cove is there to grab another. There's the flash. It gets a little bit of their team, and so does the wingman. Finds one more. Void's able to take them down. Finally, the menace that's been doing a decent amount of damage here. Mosh pit going out. It's going to do a lot on Void if Void can't get out of it. They do. Sago takes them down. One player left, and there we go. It is going to be a first round victory for DePaul as they're starting to change some of their play styles. They're going to be changing it. They went for the retake. The discipline on Viper Beat a boost in. Just cautious. Biba Doobie Stan. A very fun name. A tongue twister indeed. But they're going to be the ones leading the charge here so far. Charging up that ultimate as well. 2-1 on the KDA. It's going to be the conversion round. The buy up for DePaul University. An interesting play coming out for St. John's. The confidence as they have a stinger in the hands of two players. Void and Knight. I mean, Void and Knight, they did an amazing job being that secondary fragger coming in after the duelist. But still, interesting that they're going to be going for weaponry instead. Oh, wow. The ultimate already online for KO Reckoning goes off, but Saga with a mosh pit and Rubik's with the nade is just able to do so much damage here. It doesn't even matter. What an interesting turn of events. I didn't even see how that ultimate got charged. Ticklemaster's able to grab one, but it's just going to be the spray down from DePaul as they keep 4 guns onto the conversion. They got their ultimate relatively quickly there. I know that they got 3 frags earlier. 3 frags, they died. That's 4. They picked up 2 orbs as well. That's gonna be in the previous round. If they picked up 2 orbs as well, that is going to be 6 total. Picking up this orb here gives them 7. That's mathematics and it works out, but it's just such an interesting play. And because they bought up those stingers and they were going to play off that ultimate, it makes sense now why they bought those stingers. I apologize for not catching that, but at the same time, because of that, they're not going to have as much utility here. They're not going to be able to purchase up weaponry altogether. And again, this strategy of charging up that ultimate, they took a decent amount of space on both sides. He's going to grab the orb there, potentially grab the orb on B as well. I think it's a very unique strategy. I don't know, that ultimate I feel is slightly underpowered in my opinion. Just my personal opinion. That ultimate, the Reckoning, it's really useful. It's very good. But at the same time, there's a lot of potential to lose out with it. Like, you could play with it and it still doesn't work out. I mean, it gives away the position of players as they know where Smalls is. Rubik's is able to grab them. It's going to be 3v4. Tickle grabs Saga, so at least there's a trade there. So, no utility for our lonely Gecko here. That being said, St. John's University has come back from stuff like this before. Tickle grabs one more, but they pull away. They're not going to be going for that weapon. It's really nice that they're going to play for that objective. I don't think they have the time to get the plant off on B site, especially with only 15 seconds, almost 15 seconds left on the clock. They're going to need to run there, and they really need to not worry about it. Like, they can't have any problems here. They have to instantly get the plant down as soon as they can. Oh, but there's that suck to slow them down. Tickle was able to avoid it, and with a couple of seconds left on that clock, gets the plant, falls for it. Pearcat is there. There's the trade. 2 versus 1. DePaul University is on the back burner here. They have the better weaponry, but with a sheriff in hand up against a low tenacity, it's just going to be a blow, a whiff away from them to fall. Doesn't catch a timing, unfortunately, but tenacity still able to get the plant down. Peaks as soon as it goes away, and there's the defuse with only a sliver of HP left on their health bar. They're able to win things out, hitting the gritty and having a fun time. Well deserved there as a clutch goes out for DePaul and an ultimate. That astral divide, cosmic divide going out for Astra. It's an impressive feat. Very interesting usage of that star. I don't believe they were smoking it off. I believe they took it back, and because of that, it tripped up a void just a touch. Expecting it to be maybe a touch longer, but it's gonna be the 4th round, and since the pace has been broken kind of by St. John's themselves, they bought up weaponry round 2 when they lost. They have to get rifles the 3rd round, which is given DePaul a decent amount of time to capitalize on utility. Pearcat falls as they try to play and do some funky Yoru plays. Unfortunately, does not work out. There's that KJ ultimate to slow them down and get them onto site. St. John's University here pushes on. Void with that Spike in hands, gonna get the plant. Smalls waiting for the timing as well. There's the cosmic divide that we were talking about. It goes out, slows the pace, breaks off anyone from playing on long, but thankfully everyone's on site. Sends the wingman in. Sunny catches the timing, gets stunned for it. There's the refrag for Void as well, as he is going to be going up against Rubik's. One player left, and they all peak at the same time. The cookie crumbles as St. John's University is able to not only net themselves 3 players, which is a very, very good number to have taking weapons into the next half, especially because you know, potentially Smalls can ultimate this round if they can get a kill, drop their weapon, pick up an orb, boom, we see the Blade Storm, or in general just to keep building their economy in these coming rounds, get the snowball started for St. John's. That being said, we see 2 rifles potentially. No, they're electing to save this round. A very smart decision here, especially because they're playing off on defense. They can hide in corners with shorties in hand, or even potentially hide with some stingers. We see the wall, we see the ball, we see the smoke going out. They're spraying through it. Trailblazers already been out there, so they know that there is some room for them to take. The TP coming out as we get a bird's eye view here. All of the players surrounding this B site. A is completely empty, but it is going to be a B hit there. Smalls opens things up, gets the first blood, takes out one. There's that reckoning that we saw earlier. Flash goes out as well, grabs a decent amount of players from St. John's and gets one more. Sago is able to find some value with that stinger, but he's caught off guard. Pinstripe kill feed ends right there. Sunny's able to grab Pearcat. It's just going in favor of St. John's, and they have the weaponry here, so it makes sense. Flashes himself a little bit. Either that or Knight is able to send a guiding light, a flash from Sky. Unfortunately, though, that is going to be 3 ultimates for DePaul's side. The Thrash, Viper's Pit, and Null Command all in combination. I don't think that they're going to use them all at the same time, but the Thrash is definitely one of those ultimates that with team play and coordination can decimate a team. Usable twice, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It is a new piece of utility and a new ultimate, so I'm sorry if I'm not correct on that, but he's able to use it more than once, and that is really powerful because it's basically 2 KJ stuns. Obviously the downside of it is you need to pick it up and it goes into the enemy's line of attack. Oh, the flash goes out, but there we go. This is why we like those traditional flashes. The refrag capabilities are there. He's not able to spray them down. St. John's University keeps all their players alive, thankfully. Sago hides back site. Rubik's is right there as well. Trailblazer is able to find him as they're waiting. Ooh, Dizzy goes out, blinds one, Void falls, the trades are there, and there's that Thrash. It's all you, little homie, as he's going to look for it. It's also really good for finding out any players who are lurking around. But Ticklemaster is all the way on and in halls. Thankfully, though, they're able to win out in that situation. You can't pick up that ultimate again, though. Thankfully, I mean, it would be kind of crazy if you could pick it up again and reuse it in the next round, but no, you can only use it twice within a given round, and that is going to be Thrash out of there, not finding anyone, but doing a lot in terms of pressuring off Ticklemaster from pushing. It's going to be ultimates for the side of St. John's University at this point. Mirrored Viper ults, but that's where it ends. Everything else is slightly different. Spike left behind. We get a beautiful close-up of it. Absolutely brilliant here. Thanks to our producers here at EGFC. Shouts out to Hippie. Knight spraying through it. Oh, always shout out our producers. They're amazing. There's that Trailblazers. We get a perspective on them. They're not able to find Yes, they were not able to find the Viper, unfortunately. Smalls is looking to get aggressive here. There is that. No, you don't have to worry about movement error there. Capabilities with the Blade Storm as they push in. They're able to dash out as well, not get anything there. But with Viper down, that's no pit available to St. John's University. DePaul University starting off on defense is going to give them a decent amount of rounds, going to net them some stuff. They're not going for that reckoning, unfortunately. We always see Harbor get those orbs and try and get that reckoning up as much as possible, but unfortunately it's not online just yet. There's that star, and there's the full smoke, not just a dismissal, not just a take away. No, you're going to be fully smoking that off. Ooh, but unfortunately, Biba there we go. Biba Stan is able to push out of that ultimate, not just be a sedentary Viper, but be proactive in their gameplay. Dizzy goes up and it catches two off guard. One person playing with their utility. He's able to get one more after that. There's only a single player left. Sends Wingman to clear everything out. Tickle-Master's there. Doesn't want to put down the poor piece of utility. The little bro, he's vibing and running, but Tickle-Master on the back burner runs down the clock, electing to save, not really wanting to push in. Oh, tenacity, smart play to just not aggress that. Hey, you can be my guest, take that Vandal in the next round. We've just been winning two rounds in a row. We won 3 at the beginning. We're confident going into this. We want to get us onto Lotus so we can win this series out. I have something to prove after that last game. It was very close to being evened out. It was very close to being 13-9, but at the same time, it wasn't as such. Thankfully, though, St. John's University was able to win out. That being said, though, I think we have a fun turn of events here. So
I've got your trail.
Hopefully DePaul University can hold things off.
Poison orb emitting. Sky's dead. Poison's off.
Unfortunate set of circumstances here. I am back. DePaul University, 2 players down. St. John's has that Viper Spit to hopefully secure it. Badabidu Stan makes it 3-3, but the trade in numbers is still there. And with Viper still alive, the pit going out, it's going to be difficult for DePaul, but not unrealistic. Pearcat still has 2 flashes available and a TP. The flash is super useful. But there's that reckoning. Double ultimates coming out for St. John so they can start securing some rounds, getting the steam rolling, the ball moving. Flashes in. He's not able to find anything just yet. Pearcat finds Sunny. Sedentary Viper, unfortunately, breaks it, but the time is already there. They've kept the spike alive. There's that cross. It wins out. Tenacity's the only one there. He needs to live up to their namesake. He's able to grab one, taps the spike, but Void's right there. And that is going to be the first round in a while that St. John's is able to win out.
Well.
And I do want to mention, you know, we have some fun changes of pace here. I'm not alone. Slater, how are you feeling? How are you? I hope you got to see that round. It was absolutely intense there, and St. John's was able to net themselves a win.
Man, it's just beautiful plays coming in from...
Oh,
beautiful plays coming in from the offensive side. Well, can you hear me now?
yes, we can. And we are ready to get talking about some Valorant action. The Void has been consistently getting these orbs to charge up that reckoning, that ultimate. A very interesting play that I haven't seen too much of, but it's been working out for them. So it's great to see the consistency on St. John's side.
And well, to answer a couple of questions from me, St. John's University, have they taken 3 rounds now after DePaul being up by 5, or has it been just a lot of practice?
It's been back and forth. DePaul was able to win and convert some more rounds after that. Same thing with Sunny right there on the trade, gets Pearcat. The thing is, St. John's University, they dominated the previous game on Ascent, but they were unfortunately not capable of doing the same thing here. They lost, I believe, 3 rounds in a row after winning their first 2, only being able to come back recently in the previous round that you got to see earlier there. Tenacity sprays down one. He's not able to find Void. Finds Tickle-Master, though.
Player standing.
Ooh, well, leaving them in a 1v2 here. DePaul, it's B2B Stan trying to get that smoke down. Can he get the ninja defuse working with? But I believe Void might just spot him first, what seems to be the case.
Poison's off.
And Sunny, not gonna be showing himself anytime soon. Not gonna be easy whatsoever. I'm trying to make this defuse happen. I believe save might just be a way to go for it. And Sunny, however, is there to shut it down, taking the 3K, and St. John's University edging ever so closely towards that equalizer.
And the thing is, if they win this right now, St. John's University, they've won the series. So for St. John's, it's to win. For DePaul, it's to stay alive. The decider, personally, I want to see the decider, mainly because it's Lotus and we don't see too much of it. I think it would just be fun. Regardless of the situation, whether we see Lotus or not, DePaul wants to stay in this so they can win. They're playing the new agent. They're playing against St. John's University on their map. They have something to prove here, especially with a scoreline of 13-9. They were able to take some rounds off of St. John's earlier. St. John's. But are they going to be able to win things out? This aggressive play here from DePaul. They're just running, dashing up on A site, leaving B completely empty. We saw this earlier on Ascent, and it worked out for them. But with Smalls with a Vandal, he's able to grab 3. Oh my gosh. Sago takes the ace away. Takes the ace away.
Almost made it 4. Rubik's does have the one in his hand. A few bullets to work with here. Gonna be facing St. John's University. Pulls out the ult as well. It is Sunny up here close by, looking to get that shot in as soon as the peek comes in from all the 2 players. Sunny, it's all about the timing here. When does he decide to peek? It might just be perfect, which it is. He's found one, leaving Sago to be the last man alive, taken down by Void, and it's St. John's bringing it right back to that equalizer, 5-5.
And this is the thing that we've seen with St. John's time and time again. They're doing an amazing job with these crossfires. They set them up early. They have a very strong site hold, especially once they get on there. They're a very good execute team. They can execute onto a site and retake it really well. But because of that, I think that they do prioritize making sure that their crossfires are just set up perfectly. Because if they're really good at one thing, they got to be really, really good at the thing that counters it. The unbridled aggression from DePaul, if they just dash onto site, check every angle, and get in there with a lot of utility and dump it all on St. John's, they're going to be in a bit of a pickle. But at least if they have those crossfires set up, not everyone is going to be bamboozled by it.
Pure Cat, with the teleport here, he found one early on. Sago, he's already decided to push in. Will he find the offense? No. Okay, there he goes. Sago finding 2 with that suppression, but Void there replying back with 2 of his own, leaving him to be in a 2v1 here. Does have a pretty good position to work with, but it all depends on DePaul University tenacity. How do you go for this peak? Has the Phantom in his hand. This might just be peeking the back here first. Goes for the smoke as well. Perfect time to do so. The ult coming out early as he's found one. It's going to be Void and Tenacity now going to be facing each other as the wall suppression does come out. Tenacity sticking around. Oh, that could have been it. That just could have been it. But he got a little too impatient there, and it's Void taking yet another round win in a 1v1 situation that this was not the first time I just noticed.
And the thing I want to mention is that this is the 3rd time we have seen Harbor's ultimate. This is the 3rd time in the half. He's done it thrice, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And that is a genuinely impressive amount of times. They've been farming orbs. They ulted round 3, by the way. Sorry, round 2. I think, no, it was round 2. They round 2 ulted because he picked up 2 orbs, got 3 kills. That's 5, and then he died once, picked up an orb on the second half, and got 7 ult points within the matter of a round and a half. Which just goes to show how, this is St. John's map, which just goes to show how well they've thought of their strategy. Harbor being a slightly underutilized agent, especially when they first came out, but now that they, have some strategy with him and some team play, it's really working out as Sunny's able to grab 1 and the trades are starting to go out.
That they are, and it's once again the spike going down from the SJU side. DePaul University Tenacity, last man alive here. facing offense from different directions. Still manages to pull 2 down, even in a vulnerable state. Would you look at that in a 1v2 now? Let's see if he's able to make something happen. Faces Tickle-Master and gets taken down immediately. The first half ending at a 7-5 scoreline. And you know, when I came in, it was 3-5 in favor of DePaul. The way St. John's have been able to make this comeback has been absolutely resounding.
And it's not surprising. They're very good at adapting their strategy, changing up the way that they play the game. They were losing out. They lost a couple of rounds in a row. They lost 2, had bought up weaponry on one of them and haven't been too successful. And because of that, I think that the change of pace to take site aggressively instead of defaulting, they were really taking things slow at the beginning of that game, this half. Oh, words are slipping away already. But they were taking things way slower. And it's interesting. Normally, it's like when you're aggressing, you're losing and you want to take things slower. But in this case, it's the inverse. They're able to do a lot of damage by just being aggressive. As you can see here, Knight already taking the first peek with Smalls.
He's already down to 13 health, so he's got to be careful with the next few steps. Tenacity trying to push in from short, denied by Sunny. Still got a lot of health to play with here. St. John's University's defensive half is coming out to be pretty strong here at the start.
I mean, strong start, but a good finish is what they need here for DePaul. Unfortunately, St. John's has that as well. I mean, they have all their players off a team ace. Everyone's got their one. Hey, you're good for one. You're playing as a team, and it works out. You try to pick up some trophies, but unfortunately, that does not come to pass. It's going to be the conversion round as everyone buys up weaponry. Now, Smalls saving for that op, or yeah, they're on defense, so they're saving for that op, going with the Sheriff instead. Everyone else buying up in full. Interesting choice for Knights to be going over to that B site with Stinger. Although playing in mid with Stinger is very fun. Electing to go for a Marshall for those easy picks is a little bit better. Oh,
taking a round here. It's absolutely going to be huge for the St. John's side. Could lead them up to 5-9 here, and they're starting us off strong with Sunny already finding 1. Rubik's left down at 22 points of health. So unless he can do some phenomenal amounts of damage early on, we do not see anything happening. It's Sunny holding on to that short angle. We got DePaul University trying to close in towards the A side, but they've got the wrath of 2 of the players in the defense facing him as Void takes down yet another, leaving DePaul in a 3v5 here. 2 of the players hanging around over at the mid position.
Slow and Steady wins the race here, and with 3 players down, make it 1 player left alive. I mean, it's just looking like St. John's University has... not only do they want to have a flawless round this round, they just want a flawless half here, winning everything out. It is going to be the rifle round here, the bonus for St. John's, and potentially a win for DePaul here. But with how they've been playing, and with Smalls getting that 3rd round operator and full shields as well, on top of that, it is going to be difficult to say the least. Definitely a lot of strategy would need to come out here for DePaul's side. They do have Gecko as well. Have you been able to talk about Gecko, Flater?
Oh yeah, we got Gecko in the last game. It was Galaxy Vortex coming in from the UTA side, absolutely dominating the competition. Saw some amazing Immortal Radiant gameplay from the Gecko side here. Oh my god, Sunny brought down 20 points of health. Amazing early plays coming in from DePaul University as the flash does come in, but Sunny's a little too quick with it. The heal comes out as well. It's SJU continuing to maintain their astounding defensive overhaul.
And I mean, they are on defense. Most maps are just default defense sided because they have to come to you. Attack needs to come there. And losing their first player there in mid as well, you have a lot less control. There's an op all the way on B site. There is a absolute amount of pressure on every angle for you. You have not that much control and not that much space. On attack, you're going to be floundering here.
Spike down A.
Cat decides to push in with a flash, but would you look at that, Tickle-Master unhinged It gets a little too impatient trying to cast that Vandal.
Last player
Sago
standing.
finding 2, leaving SJU down to the last man. Here in this 1v2 is not going to be easy whatsoever. Smalls needs to be really careful with his next peek. Where does he go with it?
I mean, just as quick as I was talking about positioning in space, they unfortunately lose out. The plant's already there. Smalls. I mean, an op and a dream. It's one of those things where it's a very powerful weapon, but solo, it's very difficult to clutch up with it, especially looking at this cross setup on both sides. Slowly jiggling, peeking, seeing if they can find anyone. Finds one, whips out the sheriff, but Tenacity's quicker to the draw, gets them down, and that is going to be another round in favor of DePaul.
First round here in this next half coming in from the DePaul University side, and of course you need as many rounds as you possibly can to equalize that scoreline. Still a 3-round lead here for SJU. Heading into this next round, they've got plenty of guns to work with and a lot more opportunities to change up the defensive strats.
And I mean, it's understandable that they lose the rifle round. It's their bonus. They're trying to just get as much damage onto DePaul. And considering that it was one player was left for DePaul, their economy's not strong here. If St. John's wins this out, they're almost guaranteed a couple of rounds in this. They're not guaranteed the win just yet, especially with Thrash coming out. It's a very powerful ultimate. The dash, I don't think works out, unfortunately, though.
Spike planted.
Fortunately, it's gonna be SJU down to their last 3 players. Void trying to lead the charge here for the retake. Can he find one? Not yet. Has the Vandal in his hand to work with, but the spray is not connecting anytime soon. Over on the other side, Tickle Master. Let's see what he does with it. We got a kill coming in from Sunny here, pushing in from A main. Tickle Master finds one as well. Sunny gets taken down, but as the dust settles, it is DePaul University down to their last man. Time is running out, and Void has it all figured out as well. St. John's University, amazing retake and an even better offense coming in from the defensive sided players, taking their round lead up to 10 and 6-10 on the scoreline. Only 3 rounds away from victory.
Now, St. John's University has always been really good at adapting, changing up their strategy, but also really good at executes. They're really good at getting onto a site and taking it. Now, because they're really good at taking a site on defense, a lot of the times they do play for that retake. And under that pressure, under the fire, they do an amazing job, as we saw earlier. The only thing I'm thinking is that they lost 2 players there, and that's not going to be building up their... They only had 2 players there. They lost 3. You want to try and keep 3 players, only lose 2 to keep building up your economy as much as possible. If you lose 3 players, you're not maximizing it. You're not really... It's not good. I mean, obviously, the more players alive, the better. It's pretty easy, but 3 is usually like the amount of like, hey, if you have 3 players, you're doing good. If the enemy team gets you down to 2 players, they're doing good, at least in terms of economy. That being said, economy doesn't mean much, especially when players push up. Tenacity is able to take out 1, give them a huge lead here. They're just aggressive. They just ran through mid.
I need a stop. Concealment.
And sometimes that's all you want here from coming in from a team like DePaul University facing St. John's. This is all you need. But would you look at that St. John's retake? Absolute phenomenal. Sago looking to find that with the spray, but Sunny is a little too good with the Vandal Knight taking out the last man. And you know, you would think that this was DePaul's matchup to take, but St. John's retake has me thinking otherwise.
They're just really good at executing. They work together so well. The flash is coming out, Harbor Utility blocking off their teammates to not be able to see the spike. DePaul has no recourse. It's really difficult for them to combat such a dominant team. They've won 4 rounds in this half already to the 1 that St. John's has, and they have a huge and tremendous lead. It's one of those things that once a team like St. John's gets a snowball, they start having a lot of utility, they have a lot of economy to work with. It's really difficult to take them down, to chip them away piece by piece. Now, DePaul University does have this dimensional drift, and they use it as soon as I say it. I was gonna say they do have an ultimate that's really powerful for information, and I feel like that's one of the things that DePaul University strives at. If they gain information and they get a good amount of picks early on, it causes a lot of chaos, as we start seeing a lot of chaos.
A lot of chaos ensuing here. Sunny has no health to work with. It seems like St. John's University will have to play on a retake once again, but this time it's Bibidu over on the other side, trying to flank the flank, which has worked out perfectly well in their favor. DePaul University are on their very well way of taking this round win. Let's see what Void is able to do here. Unfortunately, that Viper wall is gonna distract him away from it.
Ooh.
And the spam comes in as well. It doesn't seem like St. John's University have this round, and DePaul are gonna be bringing them both back.
Oh, but there's two players doubling up on the angle, and a third there to boot. Unfortunately, doesn't win out, and that's the thing. If you can win out on the back of an ultimate, that's really good. It's all fine and dandy, and you're gonna start building up and changing up the economy. But if that's all that it takes, you don't have an ultimate every single round. How are you gonna be playing out against it? That being said, DePaul University, again, once they get a decent amount of information on the enemy team, they can slow down and stop St. John's retake. They go into the back line, they go into the enemy territory, and they are really good at slowing and stopping the retake before it even happens. Haircat just got in there with that dimensional drift, found out exactly where they were. They already knew. They were already aware. They had all the cards in the deck and in their hand, in their mind. And because of that, it gave them such an advantage. If they can continue doing that, hopefully with some of the Gecko's utility, Gecko's utility, they can win out here. I always think Gecko as like a little lizard, or sorry, I keep forgetting the name of what they are, but like I just think Gecko, I think of an actual pet. But no, I mean Sago. They have a decent amount of utility. The wingman is still online and active. Same thing with Dizzy. Both really integral to getting and gaining information for DePaul. Something that will help them tremendously here, as Ticklemaster already takes him down.
Spike down A.
Oh, Peercat, they're trying to find the trade here. Tenacity and Peercat doing a wonderful job in bringing St. John's University down to just two players who are looking to make this site retake happen. It's not going to be easy. It all comes down to Sunny and what he can do in a position like this. Oh, Rubix has his number, that's what it seems like, but Sunny's a little too quick with that aim. 2v2 here. Sunny, what do you do? Smalls is the one pushing in early. Up in hand, make it a phantom as he finds one. And just like that, DePaul down to their last man. All good to go to defuse the spike as well, and it seems like St. John's University are going to be bringing themselves up to 12 with only one round away from taking the series.
Now, this is where we start seeing St. John's shine.
point.
They were down by players. They didn't have as much utility, but just being quicker to the draw in some situations, and Sunny being able to take that aggression when needed. It's indicative of like the, you know, second entry. Smalls goes in there, they push in onto the site, they take the space, and especially in the team environment, you're not necessarily the top fragger just playing duelist. You're entering, you're holding, you're getting out of sticky situations, and that second entry is the one that's really getting those numbers and has to have that crispy aim. And so it's great to see how this team works out for St. John's. On their own, they can do so much damage, each player, even when they're back up against a wall, even with Knight down. They're gonna, I mean, they could starve this ultimate, push out onto site together, and Smalls could just take down Rubix.
Spike planted.
Well, Tenacity does have what it takes to try to make this comeback, and Tickle-Master's ult could be the game changer here. Let's find out if they're able to do something about it. The revival coming in from Bibaru might just be useful as well. So we got Smalls with a knife, lets them go. And let's find out if St. John's University are going to be ending this game out here or not. Two more frags going their way, leaving Tenacity to be the last man alive in a 1v3. And I believe that is all she wrote for the second series, for the second
Defenders
game.
win.
And, well, nerds, St. John's University taking this in a 2-0 fashion with a 13-7 scoreline here in game number 2. The little game that I watched, well, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, I always love seeing your background. We were just on that map at the beginning, which ended 13-9 in favor of St. John's. This one ending in favor of St. John's as well. We don't get to see Lotus, unfortunately. A sad thing to hear, but I am excited to learn a little bit more about the players, to talk to them and see what they have to do, as we're potentially getting an interview here. So stay tuned. We might get an interview for you guys in just a little bit.
ladies and gentlemen, we just noticed a wonderful series between St. John's University going up against DePaul, with St. John's coming out on top in a resounding 2-0 victory. We got Knight here from SJU in the booth with us. SJU, oh, Knight, how are you feeling about this win?
I feel good about it. We've been working really hard recently. We had our spring break last week. We scrimmed every single day. We've been grinding really hard because we have a lot of stuff coming up. So this win is just another win on our path, I guess.
Another one for the books.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, you guys won out there. I have some questions. Have you guys played against Gecko before? And how do you feel about it? Oh, so how do you feel about that? Yeah.
We think it's if I'm being 100% transparent, we think it's absolutely ridiculous. His util is crazy. It's a lot to get used to, but I mean, as time goes on, we'll get used to it. I'm sure teams are gonna play some really gimmicky comps. Like seeing a Yoru Gecko combo is super gimmicky. So yeah, we were definitely tilted a couple times. I'm not gonna lie. But
that actually. Oh well, I mean, continue with what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna take some getting used to, just like any new agent. You know, it's just, you know, you gotta be mindful. You can't turn his flash, and his molly kills you in one hit. Like, you gotta be ready for that stuff. So
yeah, you know, he is in that overpowered stage at the moment. It's gonna take a little while when Riot realizes, okay, that's a little too unfair.
I had a second part to this question then. How do you combat and go against it? You played KO in the first game and switched off on Sky. Do you think that was better or worse against Gecko?
I mean, granted, every new agent, the best counter is going to be KO, just so you could shut it down. But it just so happened that, you know, our Pearl comp did call for a Sky. We felt the need that was better than the KO, regardless of the Gecko. But if it's me personally choosing every agent on the field, I definitely want a KO against the Gecko, so I could just shut him down.
Well, thank you. I was curious. I mean, it's always fun to see the new compositions and stuff.
Absolutely. It's all gimmicky, and it's fun to play against to see what we're going to have to counter.
Absolutely. Well, Knight, it was a wonderful having you here answering all the questions. And of course, do you have any shoutouts?
Of course. So we got the boys all here. We got Sunny coming in from my side right here. We got Void coming in. Shout out Void. Shout out Smalls. He's back there somewhere. Hold on. He's back there. And we got Tickle Master right here. That's the bro. But yeah, that's about it. That's the boys, man. We're working real hard. Shout out Ben for managing us and stuff like that. And yeah, man, it's just another win in the books. Hope to see you guys in the next one.
Absolutely. Well, Knight, thank you so much for coming in once again. Congratulations on the victory. It was wonderful seeing you guys in action. Good comeback here in the second map as well. But we will see you next week. So until then.
Take care. Appreciate it.
And I believe, nerds, we're going to be taking a very short break here before we move on into match number 2 of the day. I believe you're going to be heading on to the CSGO side of things. So before the Valorant viewers get to you, might want to run out of here quick and, you know, get that CSGO mindset on. But we'll be having J Turbo here with us very soon. So, nerds, if you don't have any more words, we can bring us out.
Well, I want you guys to stay safe, stay healthy, and have a nice day as always. And I'll see you over on CSGO, and Turbo's amazing, so bring him in and have him have a warm welcome in the next and coming match.
Absolutely. We'll be back very soon. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the EGFC. As I'm swapped out for Nerds Corner, Flater's still here holding things down. We've got UTK versus Cincinnati, the number 6 Tennessee going up against the number 13 Cincinnati. So Cincinnati definitely the underdogs going into this matchup.
Well, I feel like I have seen so much of both of these teams. Tennessee having that very aggressive offensive mindset, and Cincinnati having flashes of brilliance here and there, but they have it's gonna be a bit tough going up against Tennessee because of what we have seen in the past. But I'm excited to see what Cincinnati has to offer this time around.
Exactly. Want to see what they can do when facing up against the big dogs. In this case, it's Smokey from University of Tennessee. But these squads are going to be kicking things off as we've already got the map selected. These guys are getting into lobby very, very shortly. But first, we're going to take a peek at how we got here. Pearl and Lotus taken off the table to start things off. And we're going to have Icebox being our first map, that being UTK's pick.
Heading in over to Haven for the second, and our decider being a Fracture. And having so much Lotus in the past month here on EGF, you just have to wonder, how did they end up banning Lotus? Like, come on, this is like home for most of these teams at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that it's still, I think, new for a lot of teams. The Icebox to Haven definitely expected, but the fact that Cincinnati banning away Ascent, wanting to go to Fracture as the decider, trying to throw in a bit of a curveball to the map pool does get me excited if we get there. Of course, we've still got to get through the college Valorant mainstays of Icebox and Haven. Normally, you see Ascent as that decider. This time around, it's of course going to be Fracture, but Icebox is a few different approaches you can take. Always an interesting map.
Absolutely, and on a map like Icebox, I expect both of these teams to have pretty classic lineups. And I would, just for this last game, we had the team pick up an entirely 5 duelist setup and win on the map of Icebox. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see anything like that. But of course, on the bright side, we have some classic lineups coming in. We see a 2 duelist coming in from the Cincinnati side here. A KJ pickup, absolutely useful on a map like Icebox. Over on the other side, let's have a quick look. We got a duelist for a Raze coming in from the University of Tennessee, along with a Viper as well on both sides. But the Sage only on Tennessee. What do you think about this pick here?
Yeah, the Sage, of course, it's not locked in yet. I do like Sage on Icebox quite a bit. It gives you a lot of kitchen control, lets you hold on to ramp. But this Raze, I would normally question it, but this is a bridge special, so I'm just going to say bridge. You can stick to that. I've seen you play Raze. You're an absolute menace on it. But for Cincinnati, the fact that they're going double duelist here on Icebox is putting a lot of faith in Vulcan and Waldy. And I've seen Vulcan a few times, and they are a very strong jet player. But having that Reyna as well, I'm worried there's just not going to be enough initiating potential coming through for Cincinnati, where on Tennessee, I think you're running into a similar issue, but having the Sage, it does give you a few more creative options on how to set up a site that I don't think the Reyna offers you on Cincinnati's side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, if I had to choose, I'd probably go for the Sage pick here, coming in from the Tennessee side. But let's see how both these two teams fare up against each other. But Turbo, this is what I'm wondering. We barely see any more of the two duelist setup, and I'd just go as far as to say we sometimes barely even see any duelists at the highest ranks here in EGF.
Yeah, I'm 100% on the same page, right? Where you just don't see all that much of it because of how powerful so many initiators are, right? The fact that we're here on Icebox and there's no Sky being picked up, there's no KO if you really want to go for something a little bit different for those extra flashes, that information gain just not present. So this is going to be a map with a lot more gunfighting, a lot more skill expression as far as your mouse and your headshot potential. But already we're just seeing heavy hit towards this B site.
Revealing area.
Tennessee going all in with that offense. Senito here trying to get some spams going on towards the other side. Not being able to get something as of yet. SBL is going to get that spike down. And just like that, Tennessee now in a post-ban situation. We got Waldy on the flank. He's found one. Vulcan takes down another. And it's an absolute fest here. But Quack has gotten 2. And just like that, leading us down to a 2v2 here. We got Quack finding his third frag, looking for the last man. Can he find it? Goes for the peek, finds the dink. Can he finish him? Not so fast. Time is running out here for Kimmy. Goes for the fake guy, but I believe that's not going to be enough. Taken down by the University of Tennessee here, who take their very first round.
Yeah, no time, nowhere to go there at the end for Kimmy. I mean, you reach a point at the end where it is that 2v1. If you couldn't quite get the timing onto Quack, I think that round is really, really difficult to win. So good patience shown by the UTK offense, turned defense in that post-plant situation. And now we're going to see the buy up. Not sure if we're going to get a full commitment. If we don't see full investment out of Quack, that could be the potential of saving towards an op early on. So certainly going to be something to watch out for. But once again, sticking to this quick B hit, and Zanito's got the shorty, so trying to cheese out a little bit. This owl drone should spot them out, and this shorty just gonna run on in and get shut down.
Well, would you look at that? You know, I mean, you clearly expect this round to go towards the Tennessee side here with the Spectres and the Stingers doing a ton of damage at the moment. The spike is gonna go down. What Cincinnati could be looking at here is just a lot of frags that you can just run away with. Maybe a few Spectres to go as well, but as of right now, nothing like that seems to be going their way. Han takes down one. Vulcan finds one with a classic. You love to see it. Can he get another? It's Kimmy trying to get to the Sage, but the turret is being a bit of a troublesome player there. Quack takes down another. We got Vulcan, last man alive, not alive for much longer. Tennessee take their second round win.
Yeah, and that's expected. Very well done, only losing one member. Of course, we saw those classic shots come down, but works out for the side of Tennessee's. Quack didn't actually buy, so was able to just pick up that stinger, and they can buy another to give themselves this bonus round. Still everyone with plenty of money going into their fourth to try and get that full rifle round, but Vulcan already with the operator Glass Cannon playing out of kitchen, so that'll be a quick potential rotate to B. In Tennessee, it ain't broke for them, so they're not swapping it up. Sticking to this B site, but they're going to face a little bit more resistance this time around, and already sticking to that same default setup of throwing out the owl drone, a little bit of utility for yellow. That's going to clear out Sanito, the rest of the team here quick.
And I mean, this is not the first time we're seeing Tennessee pull out the exact same strategies here, but this time you'd expect Cincinnati to make a bit of a comeback, which they do. We see Kimmy finding one. Nobody on the flank, surprisingly. But let's see if the Vandals and Phantoms are going to be more than enough to take this side back into their own hands. It's Kimmy trying to get some early points of damage in. Han's the last one alive, not alive for much longer. Sanito takes him down with a molly bridge. Close by, peeks through, taken down by Vulcan, leaves King to be the last man alive who's gotten the DK orb going. Let's see if it's able to do any damage. Just like that, King gets one, but I believe it's not going to be enough. They've already refused half, and he's going to be taken down by Kimmy, who I believe has just found his third at the University of Cincinnati, take their first round win.
Yeah, that's a very big round for them. I was really looking to how clean it was at the start, but at the end, King just doing so much damage. The nano swarm, and of course, the extra kill snatched away at the end, meaning that only 2 rifles were carried over for Cincinnati, and they're in a pretty scrappy position. Vulcan, of course, after investing the operator last round, won't have much to work with this time. We'll just go for the Blade Storm to try and complete this buy, but it's looking good for Tennessee, and I like that they've slowed this down now that they do have that gun round, but Waldy finds a duel in mid, and still just lean towards the B site. The favorite of Tennessee, but with the rest of their team falling, they've got to move quick.
That they do, you know, just another attempt over at B side here. It's not going to work out every single time, and Tennessee needs to realize that. Already down to the last 3 players. Facing Voldy now, the spray doesn't work out. The wall's a little too late, and that leaves SBL to be the last man alive here. Goes for the peak at the correct time, makes it a 1v3, but still got plenty of players to deal with, and Dummy is going to bring them down to the ground with Cincinnati now tying it all up.
And that was a really big round for Cincinnati to win. It puts them in a much better spot economically. This forces Tennessee to have to make some decisions, ask some questions about the buy they're putting together. It looks like they are just going to try and pick up the Sheriff, Stinger, Marshals, put themselves all around 2K. Sure, you can see that Guardian reinvested as well. They'll have that extra loss bonus assuming they lose. And I think the goal here, just get that spike down, move towards the A site. But 3 rifles are going to be in their way. And I do like that Cincinnati, they haven't just started to really break down their default setup just because of Tennessee leaning towards the B site. They're still respecting this potential to come A, and Vulcan collects, already getting 1, looking for 2. SBL shuts it down.
Your duty is not
Could have awaited that. Vulcan could have gone for the damage, but decided to stay for a little while longer. Punished immediately. We got University of Tennessee now with a bit of an edge over at the east side. We see 2 of the players still present, so not going to be easy taking this on whatsoever. Waldy pulls off the ult just in case. And with a minute remaining on the clock here, Tennessee playing a very patient game. Waldy, however, on the other hand, getting a little too brave. Might just be regretting that, which he will. Bridge takes him down with a stinger. The trade not yet there. The rocket's gonna do more damage. SPL takes him down first. The spray comes out with a vandal. It's rather the stinger. It felt like a vandal there for a second. Great play by Bridge. Tell me, what do you do in a 1v5 like so? Trying to get some points over the Bridge, but that's all he's gonna get. And it's Tennessee taking a round back after the 2-round loss.
Not just a round back, that's a flawless Thrifty coming together from UTK. Very well done. I'm really going to highlight the ultimate usage that round. The Showstopper plus the Revive out of Bridge and SBL, just creating so much space. The fact that they could go 1-for-1, pick up a rifle off of Vulcan, and then bring that member back. And, of course, bringing Bridge back into the game means that they could use a Showstopper to clear out back sight, get into maze, and it felt like Cincinnati just weren't sure what to do. Now they're forced onto a save of their own and are just going to try and group up and charge down mid, whereas UTK still respectful, still clearing out this A site. Seems that methodical play is moving as they hear the footsteps behind them, and they're just going to race onto site.
And of course it is Bridge leading the charge here. University of Cincinnati, 4 of the players moving in from the flank. What do? They have what it takes to make this equal a successful one. It's not going to be easy whatsoever. It's Quack around the boxes trying to put in some points of damage with the Vandal. However, it's going to be Kimmy getting 2 to their name. And just like that, it is a flawless victory for you, Cincinnati. How would you expect this team to have tied the chain so quick?
Flawless.
Both of these teams back-to-back flawless on their respective not complete buys, and I think that's showing that these squads are willing to mix it up when thrown a bit of a curveball. And right there we saw Cincinnati just wrap all the way behind Tennessee, and then before they could even set up on site, they were getting hit from behind, and it seems like there was a little bit of panic coming together for Tennessee. Now once again we see Vulcan investing in the operator for Cincinnati, posting up on B site actually, so they're shifting their Killjoy and their jet placements, and I do like this adjustment. I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure, and this is going to be a must hold, of course, here from Vulcan. Wants to try and get at least 1, but pushing up this aggressively, it's scary as he's going to find Han. Not quite able to dash out. Reposition is here. Quack might be the next one to peek out. Opts to just let the Owl Drone do it for him, or at least wait a moment before trying to commit. But fact is, the operator is known. It's on this B site. And Cincinnati cutting off the A side as well with the Viper's pit. Just leave Tennessee in this awkward spot by their spawn.
Grenade.
Tennessee, they're still wondering where they could take this spike to. Bridge there on the grenade. He finds 1 immediately, or gets traded out. But Cincinnati right now, they've got pretty good control all over the map here. So wherever Tennessee have decided to go, it's gonna be a bit of a tough one as we see the push coming into B side coming to fruition here. Vulcan on the operator, he's found 1. He's looking for more. Has the smoke and the jump to work with as well. He gets the second, looking for the third, hiding behind yellow boxes. Peeks towards the right, and he takes the last man down. It's a Vulcan on the 3K.
Very, very well done, and Cincinnati put themselves into the lead, and This looks to be the make or break moment for Tennessee, as they're facing down the decision of if they want to buy down here without access to full utility and armor. Wouldn't mind seeing Bridge just buy down to a Spectre or something like that, where you can have your full utility, give yourself that extra space to work with, those extra options. But of course for Cincinnati, the fact they've gotten these two back-to-back and they were able to convert on the round following their flawless, and they have got a lot of money to work with. And Vulcan putting that op to good use, moving around, doing what you've got to do as an operating jet, but does get traded. Waldy brings it on back to an advantage, but Quack through the smoke. This is a little bit of madness out of mid.
Deploying drone.
3v3 here. We see the Cincinnati side slowly trying to take control back over towards the mid direction here, and just like that we got Samido pushing in. He's taken down 1-2 before being taken down by King, but that's all he's gonna get. It's Cincinnati pulling out there at the end, taking 2 round lead in a row here against the Tennessee side.
Yeah, and this is Tennessee's map pick as well. Of course, Icebox, it's one of those maps that everyone knows very well just for how common it is as a map pick, so you can't really write this off just as UTK struggling on their map pick or Cincinnati just being that much better prepared. I think it comes down to there have been a few clutch situations that Cincinnati have stepped up in, and Tennessee, they're likely going to give up at least an even half, and there's going to have to be some real changes coming through as King does spot out Waldy, but I don't think Waldy knows. Does get tagged up, doesn't quite go down, almost hit with the headshot, and eventually Quack will fall instead for the sins of their teammate, and now Bridge over pushed. Kimmy picking up another one. Has been pretty back and forth, but Cincinnati staying ahead as they need to.
Poison's off.
Sheriff in hand. Oh, the shot doesn't connect. But the operator, however, ready to finish the job. Going for the peak again, but it seems like Han's gonna be taken down by Samido first, leaving them down to the last 2 players here from the Tennessee side. From the Tennessee side here, University of Cincinnati on the right path to take yet another round win. It's SBL. Towards the A side here. What a shot over to Kimmy. Also has a stinger to work with. Does spot his head, but is gonna wait around for just a little while more. Tries to face the flank. Gets eliminated by Vulcan, and it's Cincinnati going up by 3.
Yeah, that was scary for a second. There's a real world where if SBL hits the first shot onto Vulcan, that Sanido is going to be the next to follow, and I like this timeout being taken by Tennessee. I was going to suggest that they probably need to take one here. That last round, you can write it off. Not a huge deal. The fact that SBL was able to get some extra econ damage at the end is going to feel nice, but realistically, Cincinnati, they're in a spot that they can pretty much just buy down for the rest of the game, no problem. For Tennessee, they've got a lot of ultimates to work with. There's a few set plays that they can try to put together to give themselves that winning edge. Of course, you have to also consider Cincinnati both duelist ultimates and the lockdown, so they can, of course, always counter lockdown. They can try to do some extra shenanigans, but I think for Tennessee, run a set play, play confident, stop getting caught in these 1v1s where you're not getting traded, and they'll find a little bit more success.
That is the plan here for the Tennessee side. A 3-round deficit is not much. We have seen, and trust me, a lot of crazier things happen. But as of right now, all you need to do is set your mind straight and get another game going. University of Tennessee, a lot of money to work with, has Vandals all the way through, and have decided to push on towards the A side.
And I think an A set play is probably best for the utility they have. Lockdown, Viper's Pit, all very, very effective with how A site is built as far as being able to cut off the sight lines and make it very difficult to retake. But I think Cincinnati knows this. They'd rather just fight for it at the outset. Having Waldy here can pop that Empress at any moment. And that's going to be one of the points to watch as well. And King trying to punish Cinto. Oh, but Waldy steps up and it goes back to back. And the last time Tennessee won a round is off a play like this, where they get one, they answer it back with a res, and now they also have the showstopper.
Ooh. Attacker Killjoys all could push out the rest of the Cincinnati boys here. As we see King trying to head back, trying to clear some of the previous angles. But the spike's gonna go down, and this is exactly what you were looking for, right, Chirpy?
It exactly is. Viper's Pit plus the lockdown. Of course, it's countered out immediately back, and they are going to invest the Hunter's Fury to counter out their opposing lockdown, and will find that last shot. But the Blade Storm here as well for Vulcan. Quack's going to have to be careful. Does manage to stay alive, is in a dicey spot. Now it's all up to Quack. Doesn't get hit with the right click, and now he's low. Dummy might not have the gun pull out, has to time it, but the shock darts out. The bow, not what you want. Quack gets the rifle, spots Sanito, just has to try and dance around the maze to keep this one going as Sanito sticks it, and that's the round for Tennessee.
Another round, well, a round for Tennessee after quite a bit here, and of course a very well-deserved round after so much effort. Tennessee have been able to take this 4th round win in their pocket. 6-4 is the current scoreline, very close to tying it all up here.
Yeah, I think that they can get one more. Of course, Bridge only having a stinger is not going to be great, and also just how much it took from Tennessee to get that round. It was 3 ultimates, including the res on that, right? Just how much there was, but also on the other side, you forced out the opposing lockdown. You're able to get some early picks. Now you can use that showstopper to make space, and with Dummy falling as well, there's no Hunter's Fury. Bridge getting 2 on site. This is everything they could have asked for. Is Cincinnati falling apart in this moment?
And if you're Tennessee, this is exactly what you'd be looking for in a 1v5 at Cincinnati. No chances of survival at the moment. The KJ is the last person alive, but for how long, that remains a question. We see one frag coming in, but I believe the DK is gonna pull him down to the ground. Samito goes down from Han, and with that, we are led to the last round here of the first half.
And that's the impact of timeouts. Just the ability to stop and reset, check your mentals, make sure your team is all on the same page. It's been night and day, I want to say, for Tennessee, as far as how clean they've looked in these last 2 rounds and coordinated. Of course, it was a little messy when everyone's ulti was getting dropped in round 9, but it still wasn't anything to be, or round 10, I should say, but it's still, they managed to win it out. They managed to use their utility effectively, and I think that that's just something that they were lacking for quite a while. And now King punishing Waldy's aggression. Another early pick going the way of Tennessee.
Cincinnati, they really gotta watch out for these early peaks that they have been making on towards mid. Let's see if anybody else falls for the same. Not so fast. Heading in towards B site now, and that might just be the way to go here for the last round of the first half.
And considering Bridge was already able to just hold main control, and now you can see Cincinnati, they're trying to rotate off A. They don't know what to do. That alarm bot will trigger the rest of the team to commit to this rotate. It'll be a 4v5. Most likely a bit of a brawl on site as this plant gets denied, and the Hunter's Fury already popped. You got to use it or lose it, and does a little damage, but not too much to write home about. SBL will finally get the plant, but takes almost his entire health bar to get it.
Got SBL back on top of the container with 4 of the players on the Tennessee side, just trying to make sure that the close plan situation goes their way. As we see Kimmy now pushing in and goes for the ult here in this last round. The ability to defuse is there, but SBL just pushes in, takes the Viper down. Dummy, last man alive, gonna be trying to get that spike defused, but has not a lot of utility to work with, but so I don't believe it's going to result in anything. SBL or King are finally going to take him down, and it's Tennessee taking 3 rounds in a row, leading us into a 6-6 scoreline.
Yeah, we're all tied up, but that was a really scary attempted retake from Cincinnati. There were a few moments that I really thought they'd have it. Seeing the Viper's Pit get dropped, SBL dropped to 0 from the, or dropped to 1 from the decay, and just how close it was. If a couple shots went the other direction, that could very easily be a Cincinnati round and them carrying some momentum into this half. Instead, it's Tennessee streaking the last 3 rounds since their timeout. It's done a lot of work for them, and you can just see that this is a team that has been contesting around the top 5, the top 8, and it shows with some of their set plays. And now on defense, we'll have to see that same level of coordination and collection, as Cincinnati already leaning towards this A site to start things off.
To carry on the momentum force, that is the plan here for the Cincinnati side. Let's see if they can pull it off. We see Sunito now trying to push in through tubes, gets spots out bridge, takes him down, but he doesn't expect the second man. Quag is there to pull him down to the ground with Kimmy getting the trade.
Oh, just so well done in that moment. Of course, looking away, that hurts, but you can't expect there to just be 3 waltzing down mid. Does put Tennessee at a man disadvantage. King trying to take 2 separate fights, and Waldy just shuts down Han on the back side. Not much else to be done. It's 2v4. Very difficult to try and push in. Is that frenzy spray a little awkward?
Oh, Waldy looking to find that last man of the frenzy, which he does, getting the 3K as well as the round lead here for the Cincinnati side here in the pistol round.
And that's big for them, I think, to get some confidence back and just remind themselves sort of how they're doing and how those last 3 rounds are still not necessarily reflective of their total skill, right? And now they do have a double duelist team, and of course on offense is when you'd expect that composition to be able to succeed, just with the additional aggression that you might want to have when you're attacking. Is Waldy already doing some good work in that last round, now using that money to pick up a Phantom already, but we're seeing this stack out from Tennessee, and Cincinnati not playing this too quick. I think that's good for them. You want to use these sight lines as much to your advantage as possible. This Owl drone should reveal quite a bit. Doesn't spot much yet. Only actually sees 1, so it might not be as impactful as we expected, but not if Vulcan and Waldy are just doing what duelists do, including running into the opposing team and dying, but still created the space, lets the team clean up. And good force up, or a good buy round from Cincinnati.
Man, I wish my teammates were like those, you know, pushing in for the greater good of the team. Unfortunately, that has never been the case.
Oh, your Jets, you're telling me that they dash in from 3 screens away from you and you can't actually have any line of sight, and then they're like, "Where's my team?"
It's unfortunate.
Or they're in the back on a super deep flank that's never going to come to fruition.
Yeah, that too. It's just collection. Heading into this next round here, University of Cincinnati, they're up by 2 and they want to extend this lead further, but it's not going to be easy whatsoever. It's Tennessee. They've got the big guns to work with. See Bridge having a Vandal in the hand. Trying to go for this early peek. Does spot her out, but it is not going to result in a kill just yet. 2 players trying to push in from the side, and Waldy's found 1 as well. Quag goes for the trade. Waldy takes the second man down. Cincinnati up by 1 player, trying to catch that back up. SPL lurking around here, around the spike, trying to find Waldy, but he's a little too quick with the ult in his hand. Dummy's found another, and Waldy's found his 4th with Cincinnati. Now, up by 3.
Oh, and Waldy. It's been so long since I've seen an Empress just pop off in Collegiate. Brings me back the old days when Reyna was a more consistent, more viable agent, and of course now it's really just if you're very confident and you're able to really step up and try and take over the server. As we can see, Waldy is doing current top frag in the server, doing very, very well, creating lots of space for the team, and it's just always refreshing to see those resets come one after the other, all of them falling to the purple Empresses. Now, once again, Tennessee forced to save. Cincinnati looking to push themselves to double digits, and mentioned it earlier, this is Tennessee's map pick, and have seen them at times not be quite as clean as they might want to be on Haven, so going to take some real turnaround to try and make this happen. Of course, this round you might not be able to do much, but a little bit of economic damage. It's going to be the next rifle round you really care about. King manages to shut down Waldy for the moment.
Walking all down to him here to bring down yet another, which he does, and just like that, you know, Cincinnati, they keep on walking all over with this amazing offense. They take side by force, and they continue to take control of it. 10-6 is the current scoreline, and Tennessee, well, time is running out.
And one thing about this Tennessee composition, because of course the real focus is Cincinnati, right, with this double duelist, and of course both teams having the core three of the Viper, the KJ, and the Sova. But the fact is, having a Raze and a Sage means you don't have anything like extra flashes or extra smokes if you're to go that double initiator or double controller type setup to slow down the speed that Cincinnati are trying to put together. I think that's been a real issue
Right here.
so far from Tennessee that we've seen, is just that they don't have ways to slow this down. If the Sage isn't on one side, you're not going to be able to use that extra utility. SBL, though, able to punish Vulcan. That's a good start. That's a way to slow them down, is getting rid of the main lead. As Waldy, though, is already extended into Kitchen. Can't quite find Quack. That is big information for both teams.
Pushing in from the wind side here. We got King just holding on to this angle, and you know, I really like these patient plays coming in from the Cincinnati side. Being as patient as they possibly can with these side takes. Well, he has pushed in through the tubes here. And might just be, the B side might just be the end goal here coming in from the University of Cincinnati, because look at, if you have a quick look at the radar, you can just tell that Cincinnati is trying to enclose in from all directions, and Wally on the flank here is just gonna bring it. Some great support to the cause. Dummy pushes in, he's already found one as well. Tennessee down to their last two players over at side. What do they do? SBL hiding behind the box. It takes one down as well. And just like that, Dummy's found one as well. We got plenty of time to get the spike down into a 2v2 post-plant situation, with SBL still very much alive, has the Phantom to work with, 80 health to his name, goes for the peek, and it's a shoulder peek to make sure it doesn't go down early. And oh my god, this is extremely hard to play. How do you make it happen, SBL? Do you have what it takes? All he needs to do is take down Kimmy. But it is 2 against 1, and he's got no utility to work with, so it's just once again gonna be Cincinnati taking another round win.
Oh, and that was a round that realistically Tennessee needed. It'd be a way to stop the momentum, hold Cincinnati to 10. Now they're facing the question of what do? Do they try and force down here and try and scrap their way to 13, or instead are they going to save, try and win 6 in a row? It looks like that's the avenue they're opting for. But I'm going to say, shout out, of course, Waldy with that very deep flank, but just the team coordination that came with it. They lost Vulcan early, and realizing that they wouldn't have the numbers advantage, they had to wait for a pick. They knew that Waldy would be able to just sort of sit around Kitchen and no one was being that aggressive. And then once they got that one pick, the rest of the team swarming in, and it was messy, but Dummy getting a couple key frags to save that round realistically, as we're seeing some contact towards Say's site, but there's already just so many green members of Tennessee sitting around that we're just going to see the rotate come through even after Waldy getting a kill onto Quack.
I mean, trying to flank the enemy is one thing, but lining up for them is another. Tennessee, even on that eco round, not being able to find a couple of frags going through, pushing towards mid, only found one. Would have expected a little more coming in from the defensive side there, considering the SMG advantage. Could have figured something out. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. King, last man alive, might just be going for the save here, but decides to peek through. Vulcan takes him down, and Cincinnati go up to that 12 scoreline. And J Turbo, it's not going to be easy whatsoever, even with the money at the moment. You have to play a near flawless game for the next 6 rounds.
Not near flawless. You need to be flawless, realistically. Like,
perfectly
you can
flawless.
make maybe one mistake if you got an extra member and you take a trade down, right? But you have got to be on top of it here if you're Tennessee. And I think it's going to start with maybe trying to adjust your kind of setup. Right now, we can see them going for a 2-1-2 default, keep that Sova mid, get whatever information possible, and I think that's solid, but we're seeing so much speed coming through already for Cincinnati with the Blade Storm that they shut down Bridge. Already SBL actually able to slow this down, and the fact that they were able to shut down Vulcan means that there's a real chance here for Tennessee, but that looked like it could have been all just over from that initial push.
And now everybody's going to be pushing in from the mid side here. SBL and Quack do go for the revive while King finds one. Kimmy This is gonna be huge. You need to be
Oh, no.
the damage
Oh, no.
giver. Oh, this is unfortunate. Kimmy was not able to find Han. Unfortunate timing, and it's just gonna result in Tennessee taking their very first round in a long time. 12-7 with Tennessee trying to make a comeback.
And a much needed one at that. Very big round to win, especially with how Vulcan started it off, just eliminating Bridge off the bat, nearly taking down SBL as well. If that goes the other way, SBL dies, there's no revive, there's no even fight, and it's probably Cincinnati just ending the game right here. But instead, it's Tennessee who have to rally and fight back, and now the money's not in a bad spot if they can start streaking, because of course, you just want to be able to have full buys back to back. But Cincinnati as well, they've got pretty deep pockets from winning 6 in a row. Once again, the same setup, 2-1-2 put together, but there's no Bladestorm, and Quack getting Waldy out of mid. That's another big pick, as you see the lockdown committed for this execute, but Bridge already just canceling it out. 2 players down, not much else to do here, as it's just the Sova once again sitting back, and Dummy able to get Quack, but still, Tennessee just shutting down Cincinnati's A pushes so far, and ooh, does spot the head, so this is possible for Dummy to finish off here, but it's such a tough spot.
Scanning ahead.
Oh, Dummy should be able to find one here. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. It's Han taking him down, and Tennessee are, well, you're right, Turbo. They are trying to bring this back. That is 2 rounds win in a row, but a flawless win is still plenty of ways to go.
Yeah, still need 4 more. It's been a good look so far. They're challenging early space. Of course, that's the real weakness of both of these compositions, is you only have that Sova for information gains. So for most of the round, you're pretty blind on the map. And if you can't just aggressively take space or confirm kills, there's not much that you can do. As once again, Cincinnati running towards this A site, playing a little slower this time, defaulting a little bit with their base utility, but hasn't been working out so far. This time with 5, they're going to try it once again.
See if they can make it happen. It's Bridge pushing in early once again. This time denied by the Cincinnati side, and that Viper wall might just be it here. Cincinnati could be taking the win. But let's find out if they have what it takes to pull it through. Vulcan finds yet another, leaving Tennessee to their last 3 players.
So tight. King getting Waldy, it's a good start. Of course, there's a counter Viper's Pit available for Tennessee if they do manage to find Viper. But Han, I think the gun barrel peeked through the smoke, and that's enough of an indicator. As the pit does come down, it's all up to Quack. He's trying, he's firing, but the spike's working against him, and Zanito gets the counter back. It was a couple good rounds from Tennessee, but Cincinnati snatching up map 1, the underdogs making a statement.
And this is the kind of statement that we're always looking out for here over at the EGFC. That was just the first game. Cincinnati took the first game after a couple of rounds being won by Tennessee at the start. They were able to bring it right back, and it was all down to some amazing offense that they got into the picture there. But we'll be back with game number 2 very soon. I believe the next map is going to be Ascent right here. Ascent? Haven is going to be the next map. Yes, so we'll be back. Actually, you know what? Give me just a second. I believe I have that as well. We'll be back with Haven very soon, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
and welcome back as we just saw Cincinnati, the underdogs of this series, win on Icebox, which was Tennessee's map pick. As now, as you have so illustriously said as your background, we're heading to Haven, which is a map that I've seen Tennessee struggle on. So now, I'm a little scared for the dogs. I'm a little scared for Smokey sitting over there in Tennessee as the Bearcats are stepping up from Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting one. We saw Tennessee has to have their flash of brilliance. The first few rounds of that first map were going as expected, but then Cincinnati just put it into the 9th gear and it just pulled forward, taking that first map win. Heading into this next one, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what Tennessee has in store for us. Do they know how to deal with the enemies now? Do they expect a certain strategy? It is a completely different map, like we already know, a 3-sided map heading into Haven. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what Tennessee has to offer against this newly found amazing Cincinnati roster.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm really thinking about is we saw Cincinnati. They wanted to go for these aggressive duelists, the Jet and the Rain, the top 2 frags in the lobby last game. Now we're heading over to Haven, which is a map where you're questioning if you're having even one duelist in a lot of compositions. There's double, triple initiator comps being ran on this map. So I'm really wondering what kind of playstyle are we going to see from Cincinnati, and how is Tennessee going to respond to that? Because they tend to stick pretty close to the meta, stuff like your Killjoys or your Breach, that kind of stuff, keeping it clean. But Cincinnati, they've already shown they're willing to mix it up a little bit. They already brought the Reyna out, so I'm excited to see what else they have to offer.
I want to see how Gecko enters the picture here. If either of the teams bring in Gecko, that's gonna be the craziest thing here. J Turbo, we can throw all of the analysis out of the window and then just hope on for some amazing Gecko action. Hopefully we see him.
Oh yeah, love Echo. I mean, for one, all of the little buddies, super cute in their own right, but also they're just busted, right? Like the fact that Mosh Pit is just a one-shot if it lands while you're defusing, right? Like if you land a Mosh Pit and you can't run away from it, it's just disgusting for one. And then of course little buddy able to plant the spike, one of the favorite things. I'm sure everyone's TikTok, YouTube shorts, Instagram reel, whatever you use for your short form content, you've been seeing him all over because he's a little guy. He's just a little guy trying to plant the spike.
Absolutely. Let's see if we are gonna be seeing Gecko in either of these rosters. Of course, we could just see a classic lineup coming in from both sides. Nobody want to know any shenanigans heading into the second game. The stakes, of course, heading into the final few weeks are always high. You gotta make it to the playoffs. So could just very well be we see some of the tryhard lineups.
Yeah, and I think in EGFC Valorant, at least as it stands, I think it's mostly playing for seeding, but still, that seeding does really matter because for Cincinnati, currently sitting near the bottom of the standings, going up 1 or 2 seeds can be the difference between facing a St. John's or facing a UTA. Neither of which are names you want to face, but I'd still take St. John's over Arlington with how they've really stepped up recently, and I think that there's a lot of that kind of consensus where right at the top it's just such a brawl, but there's just these little moments that can change things up, and especially as we've seen Cincinnati striking against the number 6 here, they're a dangerous team to watch out for.
Absolutely, but I believe the players are going to be taking just a little while longer to get that map going, so we're going to be taking a bit of a short break, but after that we will be back very soon with map number 2.
We set a short break, and it was very, very short. We're rocking right into Agent Select, as we're going to see Bridge stick to the standard raise, and beyond that, everything else seems pretty stock standard. Your Sova, your Breach, your Killjoy, your Astra being picked up for UTK. Cincinnati looking to do the same, just swapping out that raise for a Jet. So no shenanigans, nothing too crazy, just the base composition and duelist of Troy.
Absolutely, similar smokes, Breach as well, absolutely crucial agent on a map like Haven. So it's near identical roster except for the duelist. Personally, I'm a bit of a Raze main, so Raze any day, all day, especially on a map like Haven. You know, it's pretty sad that the bot for Raze was nerfed down to just 5 seconds, bro. That doesn't even go anywhere anymore.
Not an initiator. I don't care. I want to use her for a little information. Like, it's okay to let our duelists take space through information. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I'm here on team 7.5 second gang. I get it. 10's maybe a bit much, but 5, you're gutting it, man. Bring me back my Raze. Bridge, of course, seeing no problems so far. Still willing to pick her up. This is already a pretty interesting setup for UTK. Lots of pressure focused around the garage, whereas Cincinnati, they're spreading out. They're still figuring out what to do. But the fact that these teams are so similar, I'm really excited to see how these duelists change the way each of these squads really approach the map. Is neither one getting too aggressive to start, but this really heavy C lean could backfire for Cincinnati as we're seeing just about everyone move towards that A site.
And I believe the rotation is going to come in very quickly. It all comes down to the first call made by the Soa here, which will be right about now as the first player is spotted. And the rotation call is made. There they go now, pushing in from the opposite side here. Let's find out if Bridge can fight the turret, which he can. Over on the other side, the plant has already been made on a map like Haven Turbo. It is always the right idea to go for the retake.
Yeah, exactly, especially with how aggressive the competitions tend to be with that Breach. Really do like just executing onto sites, as we're already seeing initial trades going the way of Cincinnati. Of course, there's that one extra member set a little too far back. Sanito not quite joining the fight. Eventually does and gets shut down by SPL. 2v2. Waldy stepping up first. Made waves last round on the Reyna. And now looking to do the same on the Jet. Has one teammate behind. SPL just boxed out. Gonna take this one close. Sprays with the frenzy, and every shot misses. 11 HP for SPL, but there is no time remaining. 1 moment. And it's... Oh, wait, Cincinnati who win this one, of course, with the spike. Very close. Forgot SPL to bring it in. Man, it's late. I'm tired. But still, Cincinnati, they got round 1. Good for them, starting off strong on their, doing good.
Oh my god, starting off way too strong. I see 2 Phantoms and a light armor coming in from Waldy and Kemi, and you know how these players, I've already seen how mechanical they can be with their guns, and going towards C-Long here might just be the right idea if you're going in and fighting the Marshal. No Marshal, however, on the other side, just an Astra to deal with. SBL spots the early aggression, and it's gonna be University of Tennessee now, and closing in towards C site.
Oh my god!
Oh, SBL! Just a little dirty with it. Spots 1 pixel, and that's plenty. It's gonna drop the Phantom over. This round's turned on its head.
And all that based on just 1 frag over the Jet. The entire push there was relied upon getting the first frag. Unfortunately, SBL is just a little too good with the Sheriff.
Instinct. I don't know what that was. That was just disgusting. And this completely changes how you can play this round out if you're Cincinnati, right? You have the gun advantage, but you don't know where this Phantom is going to be playing. It could be around any of these corners, and Quack, I think, did spot Sanito out, so could see a call if there's another member spotted out. Of course, with some B presence, that alarm bot will activate or get destroyed. A decision needs to be made quick. A little noise being popped. It looks like this is going to be a B finish, or maybe it just transitioned through Link. It's going to be Quack stuck between a rock and a hard port, and that down. He comes in for the trade. Gets another, but there's still so little
10
time.
seconds
They have to plant the spike. 9 seconds on the clock. Just barely able to get it the wrap around. And Cincinnati, this is scary. It's a 2v2. There's rifles on the other side. It's anyone's round.
Killed my bot.
Well, would you look at that? It's the University of Cincinnati still being able to make it all the way to the other side of the map here, getting that spike down as well. Sanito and the Breach both facing SBL and CPU. Going for the peak with the Guardian could be huge here for Sanito. Let's see if he finds it. Turret goes out. The players have been revealed. The spray is coming through with the Guardian. Not the right idea. Dummy has found one. The spike's already being defused. Sanito, half the defuse has already been made. Sanito playing the smart game, but unfortunately peeks out. And that is all the time you need to get the spike down. Get the spike defused. University of Tennessee, bring it right back.
That force up. What a play coming through from Tennessee. It's so risky but if you do pull it off, it can work wonders to just flip the momentum of the game and just shut down your opponent's early game plans. And now Cincinnati, the ones going back to the drawing board, having to save this one up, and it's Tennessee. We're going to be able to buy down. It's sort of like we've just cut 1 or 2 total rounds out, and we're all just evened up. It feels like a 0-0. Of course, a little bit of an advantage for Tennessee.
Momentum on their side, of course. And you know, heading into this next one, they've got the guns as well. Going to be facing Sheriff here from the Cincinnati side as they see them pushing in from the short angle. Position from Bridge is good enough to get one here, which he will. Wally goes down early, and Tennessee will have to rethink their strategy of taking a site.
Yeah, it seems that they're just trying to use this B control that they've nabbed and turn it into something more, but that eventually just gets shut down. Vulcan able to answer back on a Bridge, so 2 members down on this save already. Not a bad result. These initial duels, if Vulcan and Kimmy could just become one-shot menaces, there's a real chance for this to be turned around, but it is very difficult. It comes down to timing. I think CPU spotted it first, but wasn't sure to commit. Instead, it's Quack around the corner, uses that Guardian, will get the kills. Tennessee needing to win that round. We should be getting into our first proper buy-up round coming through for Cincinnati. They'll all have rifles, and we'll see mostly rifles on the opposing side for Tennessee. Maybe 1 Spectre dropped over. Actually, no, there is enough money from SBL to drop a Vandal over. So even though it's a little messier with the Guardian and the Bulldog, full rifles for both teams, full util, we've got a gun round.
And you know, right now, Cincinnati being on the offensive side on a map like Haven, you need all the rounds you can possibly get. As we see all the players concentrated towards the mid side, might just be pushing in towards Garage. Make it B as a dummy goes for the suppression right back. Let's see how they take this B side here. Smoke's not coming out yet. Not fully committed. And there it is. The stars have been placed. And the push might just be coming through. All they need is this one frag over to King, who's playing a phenomenal game, keeping himself hidden. There we go. The smoke is out. The entry is in.
The fact that Cincinnati already losing 2 members when they're supposed to have a bit of an advantage, I just think that this approach of trying to slowly work mid is just not working out for them. You lose 1 member by initial duel out of mid, and where else do you go? Is the rest of the map, you just feel choked out of it because you don't know if anyone's pushed up C long. You don't know if anyone's pushed up A long. All you do know is their CPU shooting you out of garage.
University of Cincinnati
30 seconds
on the
left.
right track here. Wally, 1 HP to his name, and he's taken down by Bridge, leaving Kimmy to be the last man alive. It's just a Phantom to work with, and even getting a frag here means putting a dent into the economy, and that is the best you can ask for at the moment. Getting 1 here is probably all you're gonna get. Spike planning opportunity is there. Can he get it? Can he make it happen?
There's no
oh
time,
my god,
2 more back-to-back for Kimmy. That is at least some more
Good
damage,
enough.
making this awkward after that 3rd round. I think the fact that these have all been expensive rounds, it's a good decision, but Vulcan opting for the timeout. I think it's a good decision for Cincinnati. Wouldn't have mind seeing one last game, but seems they didn't need it with how well they played. Instead, it is going to be them just slowing things down, trying to reset. They have the Rolling Thunder and the Astral Wall, so have some ultimates to play with on this next round. And, of course, won't be the cleanest buy as they've been struggling, so might not want to use them quite yet unless they get some early picks, but I still think Cincinnati, there's plenty of game to play, plenty of room to work with. And also, do want to just note my own mistake, calling out that last game Icebox was Tennessee's map pick. It was, in fact, Cincinnati's. So they were able to win on their home turf. And now Haven is Tennessee's. So it does make sense that they're looking a little bit stronger, but Cincinnati still having that win in their back pocket, looking ahead to Fracture.
And currently in a 2-round lead here, Tennessee. With the amount of money that they have, they seem pretty good to follow it up through for the rest of this half. Let's find out if Cincinnati can pull off the same as we head on into the 5th round of this game here, with Tennessee spread out once again towards the mid direction.
Yeah, and this early game does feel like it's just defined by the decision Tennessee made to go for the force up, and the fact that SBL was able to get that sheriff shot straight on to Vulcan to steal away the rifle, and now Cincinnati, they just have not known what to do. Bridge gonna try and hop away, but Vulcan a little quicker. SBL shuts down Waldy, and this is a scrappy B-site take. It's gonna be hard to hold for either side, as Dummy just spraying and praying, but the prayers are answered so far for Cincinnati as they're up 4-2.
They're looking to be up 4-2 right now. The ult coming in from Quack.
Last player standing.
Might just be looking to make it happen, but there it is. University of Cincinnati taking their 2nd round win after a bit of a dry spell. They finally pulled through.
Yeah, and a Thrifty off that half buy. It's exactly what they needed. Get a little chaotic, try and win in that. Still, the fact is that these rounds have been so expensive. Tennessee forced to just have a hero rifle, a couple sheriffs. You know, the last time they were in this kind of position, they were able to win it out, but I doubt they're going to be just gifted a Phantom by Waldy again. So instead, expecting a little more methodical play, or just an A stack into some potential long rushing.
Pushing in once again. It is SBL trying to lead the charge here. Gets detected early, and not easy whatsoever to pull this off here. SBL trying to get up and close here with the Stinger. Has no health to work with, and Dummy, all he needs is a few more bullets, which he will get, leaving Tennessee down to their last 3 players as they look to head on towards the other side here. University of Cincinnati ready to get that plant down as well. Tennessee, just 2 players remaining as the Breach and the Sova as they make their way towards B side, but I believe the damage's already been done. It is Cincinnati bringing it right back with a 3-3 with a 3-3 scoreline.
And a flawless at that. The fact that they're able to keep on building this bank already, multiple members over the 6,000 credit mark, means they'll have 2, if not 3 rounds that they can just buy. There's plenty of ultimates available as well. That Rolling Thunder up, the Hunter's Fury, of course that Astral Divide, the Blade Storm as well. Only 1 away from the lockdown, so this could be another explosive round for Cincinnati. And with it being a gun round that Tennessee really needs to win, I think if Cincinnati just pulls the trigger, tries to use this ult advantage, they now have all 5 up.
Here.
It would be huge for just shutting down any attempts Tennessee has of getting back in these next couple rounds.
We got Walton and Waldy this time around, pushing in towards the A site here. Taking it around here is absolutely crucial. Quack being a little too ambitious with that peek. I am surprised he survived that, but heading on out as and when he deems it necessary, it is going to be a bit of a retake.
Already 2 ultimates used just to secure site, and they're waiting for the lockdown before pushing forward, but this lockdown spot, it doesn't quite clear away Heaven, so you're going to have to be aware of that potential. Of course, you can use the wall to hold that down while you get the spike plant, but there's not much time to actually get into the post plant, so now we're seeing the counter ultis coming through, and the Hunter's Fury as well. Tennessee are not going to give this one up lying down.
Revealing area.
Neither are Cincinnati.
There they are.
Recon Dart does spot out King, and that's a good start for them. The Rolling Thunder used as well, but Cincinnati's a numbers disadvantage. They have to push into the wall, and Kimmy couldn't quite get the shot. It's 2v2 now as Vulcan doing so much work. Vulcan with a 3-piece on the re-entry, and Cincinnati with a big round, but it took almost everything.
It really did. Down to their last man, the Breach bringing down the last few players of the Tennessee side, resulting in taking the lead here back in this game after the first 2 rounds here. So, Cincinnati now in the lead, have got plenty of money to work with. Let's see what Tennessee can do with the, I believe it just Sheriffs, Spectres, Stingers, and Marshals all the way through.
Yeah, not much to work with. Likely going to be 5 rounds up for Cincinnati. Still not quite the 1/2, but certainly not the score line that you would want to see if you're Tennessee here. So they have 2 members up short. There could be some real contesting as Waldy stepping up. King with that Marshall, so the only one with some real one-shot potential. Does just tag down the Owl drone and take a little extra damage back. And that fault line being used, trying to protect that space, but Cincinnati, they just go right around.
Oh, Bridge trying to play the Stinger against the Phantom is going to result in University of Cincinnati walking all over every single player. And that is going to result in SPL being the last man alive with the Sheriff in his hand. What does he do?
Honestly, if I'm SBL here, I think you get as close as you can to the blast radius. And you just take the L that way. Don't give away an extra 300 creds. Not that it really matters with how much money Cincinnati you're going to have with this flawless. With this position, it lets you try and SD if you want to. Also, play for a couple exits if you need to. And already that first potential with Vulcan stepping up out of short is going to run up here. Very, very loud. Peeks the wrong corner. And Dummy will get the refrag. Not quite a flawless, but 4 alive. It is going to be very, very good for Cincinnati. Tennessee, hope they have a very strong offense put together, as so far their defense has not looked like it's that strong, and we saw similar issues on Icebox, and a timeout really rectified them. They were able to fix a lot of their problems, so hopefully this can do the same.
Absolutely, you need it, especially on a map like Haven, where both in offense and defense hold a crucial role here. Cincinnati, they've got it all figured out. They try, the majority of the times we've seen them trying A site or B site. But mostly whenever they do try A, things have been working out well. Let's see if they're able to make this happen again. It seems like the plan still seems to be that they're going to be pushing towards the A side. But hey, sometimes splits do go a long way.
Yeah, exactly. I think that for Tennessee, they just haven't quite found an answer all the time to this A pressure if Cincinnati gets that opening pick. And at this point, I think Tennessee, with the utility they have with that Rolling Thunder, if they don't get the opening picks, trying to play for retake might be the best avenue. Just because of how impactful that ultimate is when there's only the Blade Storm up for Cincinnati. It does look like a default instead. And I like this out of the Bearcats. They've been very aggressive as of late, and you could see Tennessee try and respond to that. Instead, it's going to be Tennessee looking to get aggressive on their own right to snatch away this A main control and pinch out the map. And we know that when Cincinnati feel under pressure, the game gets harder for them, and King getting rid of Dummy, great way to start doing that. And Vulcan going to peek out, and Bridge shuts it down. The aggression working well for Tennessee as Sinito gets the answer back, but already man up. Never mind.
Oh, wow. Would you look at that? Sinito bringing down multiple players for the Tennessee side here, bringing down the last man. Wally is going to get that spike down. Of course, once again, a great credit to Sinito for bringing that one home. But let's see what CPUs has to offer here. It seems like Cincinnati have yet another round in the bag, heading into a 3-6 scoreline. If CPU can get even one here, that is when we can see this going any other way. But Kimmy had the angle. He had the peak already, and Cincinnati have their 6th round win.
Oh, and it was so good. It was so good to start. They got the aggressive space. They found 2 picks. But I think the second that Bridge gets that second kill, you just can't over-aggress, because you don't know how many members are trying to play for trade. In this case, it was just Sanito, but Sanito was able to just win successive 1v1 after 1v1. And it's really Tennessee's fault for continually peeking into that. They need to respect the potential of one member and realize if we have a numbers advantage, we'll have better retakes, we'll have better early positions, and we'll just hold this space a little bit more aggressively and just deny our opponents from doing what they want to do on the map. So I think it was a golden opportunity, really just lost by Tennessee, and now once again they're on a save. They're pushing all the way out of mid, and this is just an empty A site that they're going to have to try and retake.
I am very surprised that they did not decide for an A stack here instead of a push from the backside, especially with sheriffs in their hand, where so many crossfires could have been set up. But let's see if this brings us some different results. So far, it doesn't seem to be the case. Vulcan has found multiple players, and as we switch between different views, we just see the players of Tennessee going down one by one as the eco round goes not so well in favor of Tennessee.
On 2 rounds back-to-back, where I'm going to say Sanito was the X factor, because in that last one, just staying very, very quiet on the lurk out of grass, spots 2 members creeping away, doesn't fire, holds that trigger discipline, realizes it's probably an attempted pincer from Link and from main, so takes out the Link player, gives the information for everyone else holding main, and it's just a cleanup on that flawless that UTK just shut down. They had the worst guns, makes sense, and now, once again, you're on this round. Really a must-win if you can give yourself a 7-5 half. It's pretty workable going on to offense. Nothing too crazy, but finally seeing Cincinnati change things up a bit, and we'll have to watch if Tennessee's ready.
SPL trying to go for the element of surprise here. Doesn't work out well in his favor. The CPU does find one, but I don't believe that's going to be enough. Semito's aim is on point. Bridge is out. Not for the first time. Doesn't work out well in his favor, leaving Tennessee down to their last 2 players. And that is yet another attempt for University of Tennessee to take a round back.
Just gone. SBL, I love the idea of getting aggressive and trying to play within the smoke, throw your opponents off guard, and I think that there's a world where that really does work out, but just missed the timing with pulling his gun out. Couldn't get the shot as there was that opportunity, and then it all fell apart from there. The site fell, and of course Bridge not being ready for Sanito to be so far forward just gets caught with the rocket launcher out, and this has been really stymied this game. Haven't seen many impactful showstoppers, haven't seen just much work out of that player at all, whereas, and same with Waldy, right? The duelist, what I expected to be really defining this game, not the case. Instead, it's Vulcan who's really stepping up, and I will say they're a duelist player. We saw them on the Jet last game, and Quack just cracked onto Waldy, and those are the kind of kills that Tennessee needs to try and bring back this game.
And I love to see what Quack is doing here. You know, he got a kill. He realizes that most of the offense is going to be here already. So he backs out. He waits for the retake. He waits for his players to come in. But as of right now, Cincinnati are still in a pretty good position. They got 4 players. Plenty of opportunities to go for the rotate as well. Let's find out if they're able to pull something off. Pushing already towards the A side. So they seem to be fully committed as Bridge decides to go towards the other direction, and as we see, the ult goes out from King as well. Doesn't work out well enough. Dummy takes him down. SBL finds the trade before being taken down by Sanito. Vulcan CPU getting a 2 for themselves as well. We got Kimmy. Now, as the dust settles in a 1v1 against Bridge, the crosshair placement for Bridge turns out to be a little better, and it's gonna be Tennessee securing yet one more round before heading into the next half.
No 9-3 curse, but I think Tennessee are going to be much happier with that 8-4 scoreline, giving themselves a little more breathing room, especially if they can pick up this pistol, but give themselves plenty to work with and try and prevent Cincinnati from just running away with this series. And I think for Tennessee, Bridge being able to clutch up that round is going to be a big boost of confidence for them, especially winning out in such a scrappy final fight. That it'll be the kind of push that they need going on to offense, and I think this is going to be where they're a little more comfortable, able to more cleanly execute, whereas on retakes and on defense, you just don't have all of those pieces of the puzzle always available, so you have to adjust your strategy from time to time, but Tennessee, they're practiced, they're working together, and you can already see it clearing out space as a team.
Satchel out.
Bridge, first one to peek in with a frenzy. He finds Waldy. CPU gets one over to Dummy as well. You got Tennessee off to a great start here, and of course, this is what you want when you're down by 4. Taking the pistol round here means a lot for the University of Tennessee. Let's see if they can make it happen. Sight completely under control at the moment. We got 2 of the players holding out their positions. Kimmy looking to jump down, which he does. Will be facing 2 at the same time. It's not gonna work out well in his favor. And just like that, Cincinnati, last man alive, not gonna be lasting for much longer. As University of Tennessee taking the first round here in the second half.
Yeah, and it was such a clean entry onto that A site, right? It looked like it was all Bridge just shutting down Waldy, but on that same timing, you saw CPU get the kill onto, or not CPU onto Sunito, it was CPU onto Dummy, I believe. Just immediately shutting down the 2 A players in the matter of a second. And the fact that they were pushing together, working together, it shows their coordination and how this team likes to play. And that on offense, they're feeling a little bit better, and they're trying the same set piece. It does get counter fault lined by Cincinnati, but I don't think Tennessee really cares all that much. They know they've got the better guns and just want to run with it.
Oh, Bridge seemed to be the first one leading the charge here. For the offense coming in from the Tennessee side, Sunito takes down one while Quack gets the trade as well. Bridge with the stinger finds Dummy. And King gets one for himself as well, leading us into a 2v2 between the 2 rosters, the SBL.
Player standing.
Trying to get the last man, but it's going to be Quack putting him down, and Jimmy on the flank is taking down one, but he's going to be facing SBL, who comes out on top. This has been quite quick.
I can't believe that Kimmy just pulled off that super flank. It felt almost illegal, right? Just barely timings against SPL watching the flank, and then just creeps all the way up sewers to somehow find a way back and prevent that from going down. As Star dropped for the concussion or the gravity well, that'll be back up in about 5 seconds. So an initial tap going to be used. This is such a risky play as well from SPL, going all the way around. Kimmy doesn't quite have the time, and especially with that fake, it'll play right into SBL's hand as he wraps around. The shot goes down, and Bulldog v Bulldog, and it's SBL who barks first.
Well, 6-8 is the scoreline, and this is exactly what you want to see from the Tennessee side here. Bringing it right back here on the offense is what you'd want from Tennessee, and that is what they've been doing. University of Cincinnati, if they wanna extend that lead, they'll have to pull up their socks.
Yeah, they will. They definitely need to step up, and this gun round is the time to do it. And the fact they made that last buy-up so expensive, it means Tennessee won't be nearly as comfortable in these next couple rounds as they'd want to be. With the only one able to save up being SBL with that Bulldog, and a bit of a team stun onto Bridge. That is a little unfortunate. Doesn't mean too much yet, as off of that stun, King and Bridge just entering right on the site. Kimmy answering, Kimmy killing him, and we're even back up, 3v3.
3v3 here, Sunito there to break the tide, which he does find. King finds yet another, leading us into a 2v2 here. Sunito and King going up against each other.
There's a wrong thunder.
Oh.
One enemy remaining.
So well done here. It's just such coordination. You've got all the util, plenty of damage dealt as well, and King will come in clutch for the finish. But that rolling thunder just had to let it sort of sit with just how beautiful it was to see this just patience from Tennessee, where they're in this 2v2. They can hear their opponents starting to creep up, and then boom, rolling thunder shuts down that momentum. Bridge gets one. King good for the second, and King's a player who was pretty quiet in the defending half, but has really come alive here on attack with some really key frags and I think some highlight moments to shut down the momentum we saw from Cincinnati. I mean, just look at the scoreboard, right? That was 7 in a row for Cincinnati from rounds 4 to rounds 11, just really stepping up. And now we're seeing a similar story, but in the opposite for Tennessee.
Spike down, attacker
Being
spawn.
able to bring this one back from 4 to 8 to 7 to 8, quite a feat indeed. But let's find out if Cincinnati this time around can give us a different result, because so far University of Tennessee look to be the ones in charge.
I think so. Got the gun advantage. Now they've secured this B site. Still not sure if they want to plant here. Of course, always an option, and indeed there is that commitment. Hunter's Fury going to be used to prevent that plant. Actually gets a kill on a CPU, and tag onto King makes this a lot scarier than I think it really should be. And on the backside, Kimmy just picking up a rifle. So this round becoming a lot more winnable for Cincinnati, but we've seen similar situations, and King and Bridge have been working so well together so far. Don't expect to see an end to that story anytime soon, but oh, Kimmy and Bridge timing on each other, and that's the trigger to go to the C site.
Spike has one down. Tennessee, they're going to tie up this game here. Can they do it? Oh, Vulcan ran over by both the players at the same time, but on the bright side, Kemi knows where they are. How do you fight it?
And you have to play time, trying to play slow, but there's so much utility. The fault line, the nade, the aftershock already used. That's pretty much all of it, but it's taken away. I want to say 20 seconds from this clock. The satchel being used as well for a little disruption. The spray being attempted, but this dance just in and out from Tennessee as we're all even with a couple snowmen up top, 8-8.
8-8 is the current scoreline. We got Tennessee making a bit of a comeback here. From 4 to 8 here. The University of Tennessee doing an absolute wonderful job in making a comeback against Cincinnati. And of course, it just only goes up from here. There's timeout coming in from Cincinnati's side just to evaluate further. What would be your plan of action if the scoreline ended up being so after that first half?
I think for Cincinnati, the first step is there have been a couple rounds that have just slipped right out their fingers, right? The 1v1, Kimmy versus SBL, and SBL coming away with that win. And on the other side, that previous round where it's 2v2 and you just get caught off with both players not sure how to work together, and how split Kimmy was after going out that rifle. I think the game plan here for Cincinnati is let's stick together. We'll start with a default, maybe let the KJ solo hold C and garage if we're really worried about that A and mid pressure, but I think instead just playing for utility, playing a little recon out of A, playing for retake as well. We've seen that Cincinnati are very good at taking sites. They have the lockdown as well for retake. So I think in this instance, play a little more passive, make sure you're sticking together with your team and not giving away anything for free, because that's been what's allowed Tennessee to take so many of these opportunities, is that they're just getting an opening kill for free. And I do like this. They've got the operator. They're going to step past the fault line, and this makes it dangerous and out of range of those paint shells as well for the time being. Does get tagged a little bit, but at the very least it forces some extra utility, forces Tennessee to be aware of this operator and be afraid of Waldy trying to for the rest of the round.
Here.
Oh my god, look at that. Another aggressive push coming in from Sinedo. Does he check his corners? Well, first he'll have to face Quack, which he does. Does he go with the corner check? No, it doesn't seem like it. SBL is going to take him down, and with that, the rush towards C site has already begun. But look at that. Oh my god, Dummy is in such a good position. He can take down multiple players unhinged as soon as the spike goes down, which it does. Dummy is going to peek out. He's found one, but he doesn't get the second. And Kimmy is there to make that happen, but Dummy being... well, rather King being the last man alive here could not do much. Waldy takes him down to the ground, and Cincinnati have gone up by 1.
Yeah, and this is just the product of adjusting to your opponents, right? We're seeing the product and the results of that timeout immediately. Actively contesting A main instead of just giving it completely up. And I think that, of course, there's an option if you want to go for retake or you want to play aggressively. I think you just pick one and stick with it, and worked out well for Cincinnati out of A main. And of course, seeing that initial presence, knowing that there can't be any aggressive pressure out of see long Sunito getting the opening pick, and the information that Spike is sitting on that side of the map meant the rest of the team could rotate. And as you highlighted, that just beautiful position for Dummy, just stopping the plant, stopping everything, is that Showstopper does go 1 for 1. And it does allow King onto sight, but it's still a little scary as they've got the spike, and there's so many Bearcats just circling around.
Spike down B.
Variable removed.
Oh my god. That. Another beautiful play coming in from the defensive side here, while SBL showing us who's boss. Sheriff gets 2 before being taken down by Kimmy, leaving CPU to be the last man alive. He doesn't have a gun to work with, only a frenzy, and that can only get you somewhere. Not in the round window. It's going to be Cincinnati coming out on top, heading into the double digits. 10-8 is the current scoreline. Cincinnati crawling ever too close to the victory.
Getting closer. Closer and closer. That timeout doing exactly what they needed, refocusing, sharpening up the squad. And for Tennessee, honestly would have liked to see them take a timeout before this round, because there's not much you can do afterwards if you lose it. It's
Turbo, they got no money.
Down. Yeah, exactly. There's no money. This is the do or die round, so I'd rather them take a little time to really think through their strategy for this one. Because you have the lockdown, you have the Hunter's Fury, they're good ultimates to work with, especially try and counter out your opponents. But also, Waldy just whiffing a shot might be all you need if you're UTK.
Might be all you need, and it's probably all you're gonna get. As the KJL also comes out. Oh, that is huge. That is huge time bought for the defense to rotate in, but Cincinnati are now going to be making their way to get this spike diffused, but first the site retake.
And there's the lockdown, as expected. The Hunter's Fury as well to box them in. Quack actually using it to counteract the opponents, right? And Bridge stepping up. And this is the round that UTK really needed. Of course, it was off the back of just that loss of initial control from Waldy missing the shot, and now this is where the game really gets close. Cincinnati barely able to buy here. It's not going to be pretty. Not sure if I like the decision. I think maybe this is the only round you can really go for it, because you have the Blade Storm in your back pocket, and worst case, you're tied up. There's still time to play for the win off of a save, so I do think that this is really crucial now for Cincinnati, because it's Tennessee who have a little money to work with. Not a ton, but enough to get 3 rifles and then some for next round. So this is going to be scary for Cincinnati, getting a little aggressive out of short this time instead of long. But it's the mid push that Tennessee are opting for, and they've struggled when they're in this position. And I don't know if I like them just getting boxed in here.
Oh, Sunito, once again, the Vandal in his hand, ready to peek this one out, but he'll be greeted with the entire force of Tennessee, so he decides against it. Over on the other side, Waldy's taking down 1, Walken gets 2 as well, and that is what Cincinnati needed. The flank comes to fruition, and on a map like Haven, this is exactly why, ladies and gentlemen, you have Cypher and Killjoys, but unfortunately, this time around, not placed in the right position. The flank takes University of Cincinnati to their 11th round win.
And there's just not much that you can do sending all 5 members just boxed into mid. You have no map coverage. You don't know if anyone's coming behind you. C. The turret was placed to watch the garage peek and the C push, so sure, you're covered from one angle, but you've got nothing for A, and that's where the strike came from. It was Vulcan and Waldy just walking up with the Bulldog and the Blade Storm to completely disrupt the plan and the attempted execute Tennessee were going for. And now this walk-up could be impactful, but instead it's Quack and SBL quick on the trigger to shut it down. Quack brought very, very low, but Tennessee needed a lifeline, and it was just handed to them by Cincinnati.
Turbo, I have just one question. Why does this happen when either of these teams are given a second chance? They just throw it away.
Yeah, they're just throwing it back to the other team. Vulcan with the lineup does get King if he has a second, would get Quack, but no more shock darts available. It's always fun to see that in the kill feed. This is still doable. It's 2v4. Quack is low. Recon Dart not going to spot much, but 1 kill for Vulcan, and that is going to be the Hunter's Fury up, and CPU following the aftershock. Makes this even scarier than it really should be. 2 sitting back. It's SBL and Quack. Grab Scrappy well already popped, and Dummy bring this back to 2v2. Actually has the Rolling Thunder. If they use this on long, might be enough time to just get the plant going. Dummy has the body block, pops the flash as well. Didn't even peek. SBL was shut down already, and that's the round going over to Cincinnati, the 2v4. What a showing out of Dummy and Vulcan.
Dummy, the confidence on this man. Gets the perfect position for the ult, rushes in, flash in hand, he knows he's towards the right side, gets his head off, and just like that, it's University of Cincinnati heading up to number 12. Well, terrible. One more round here for the Cincinnati side. Do we see them taking it home, or do we see another pass to the other team?
I don't know if we're getting another pass without Scrappy. This buy is out of UTK. They're brought all the way down. They've got 3 ultimates. Realistically, you got to use them at the very least. Your Showstopper and your Rolling Thunder. As Waldy once again going for this position will get spotted out by the Recon Dart, but Vulcan already slowing down this A pressure. SBL taken away, and that's one of your ultimates as well. Bridge only going 1 for 1.
Oh, Smoke's already down. Astra taken down here for the Tennessee side.
Enemy mark.
Last player standing.
Goodness, it's so
Spike
close, and there it
down
is.
A.
It's all falling for Cincinnati. 3 up. They have the spike. It's all left. There's one player. CPU looks the wrong way. Vulcan gets the last
Defenders
kill.
win.
And it's Cincinnati, the ones taking the 2-0. The number 13 seed in the league. Stepping up, taking down number 6. The underdogs really reigning supreme in this map. And oh man, it was, I mean, I'm gonna say, like, it was just really, really good looks for Cincinnati. I didn't believe in the double duels on Icebox. They proved me wrong. I wasn't sure about some of their setups, and then they proved me wrong. So happy to see a squad like this show how dangerous the entire league is.
Here in the casting booth, we love to be proved wrong. We go, that's where the fun is at. You know, when the exact opposite thing happens, that's what gets us riled up. But Turbo, that was an amazing game. I believe if we're gonna be having an interview, we'll be back after a very short interval. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
And welcome back as we are joined by Vulcan from Cincinnati. How you feeling after that? I'm going to say an underdog win. It didn't feel like you guys were the underdogs, how well y'all were playing throughout the series.
Oh, we're feeling great. It's really nice when everything comes together and the team's like playing off each other. Everybody's calling, flashing for our jet, you know. It's just nice coming off of a win like that, especially being the underdogs.
Man, I absolutely loved your guys' performance, especially on the last few rounds here on the Haven, like making sure that you were able to stop down rotations and get those flanks. It was almost perfect. Everything just worked out fine, like you were talking about just in the pre-production when you just assumed that you just made the prediction right. They were gonna go to a site, but I have one question. So how do you guys get scrims going? Like what are your schedule like for scrims?
So normally we scrim like every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and typically we just like post on Gangster for our scrims, or like we reach out to other schools. Like lately we've been scrimming UConn a lot, which has been nice because like it's just nice to scrim like the same team a lot because I feel like you learn a lot more that way. But yeah.
And I know you were the duelist first and heading and played the solo next one. What would you like more? Do you like to play as a duelist in the team, or would you want to be the initiator?
I love to play duelist, but I also enjoy playing initiator because I'm also like the IGL for the team. So sometimes when I play duelist, I feel like it's kind of harder to IGL and like tell people where they need to be and like what util needs to be used where. So when I can like back off onto like the initiator role, it's easier for me to like think about what needs to happen and like where our team needs to be. So yeah,
Makes a lot of sense. Be able to bring that whole team up, but of course it's not just you, and there's a whole bunch of work that goes into making the team happen and to pull off wins like this. So anyone you like to shout out, floor is yours.
I just want to shout out my whole team. It's really nice when everybody's coming and working together, and it's great that all of us have finally like gotten to the place where I feel like we need to be. So it's nice to finally win one.
Yeah, you guys are certainly a dark horse for my bracket coming up when we're looking ahead to the EGF playoffs and just getting to see you guys more. Thank you so much for coming on and giving us such a show.
Yeah, thank you.
And for all of y'all at home, that's it for us on this stream. We're going to sting back over to the dual caster cam as Flater and I are going to have to be going. Flater, is there anything else you'd like to say to all the beautiful people out there in chat?
Man, don't you just love it when the underdogs win?
Oh, yeah.
Us in the casting booth, well, we absolutely have a blast, right? If we go into this one, like I just said, the casters love to be proven wrong, and this is one of the more perfect endings that we could hope for in a night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, an absolute blast. As always, of course, huge shout out to Hippie behind the scenes for doing the production, the observing, keeping the show running. All of y'all for coming out into chat. And if